Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown here on SplatoonTourney. This has been over 6 months in the making. My name is Falco Flyer. I am joined here with Keon and Nito. We're here a little bit live before all of the matches are starting because guess what? We have quite a show for you today. This is finally all coming together. We are so excited. Keon, how are you doing?
I am doing well, just fresh off of a cast from earlier. Now I got all the energy in the role for this LAN Championship Showdown. Falco, I'm really excited to see what's ahead of us coming into this.
All right, and Nito, we're super excited. This has been in the making for over 6 months now. We are going to be seeing the best of the best face off today.
This is the slow cooker of competitive Splatoon, and let me just say, you're going to love what comes out of this crock pot. We're all going to feast on what's about to come up. The Splatoon LAN Championship Showdown, months and months in the making. Lots are about to go down, and I can't wait for y'all to see what comes up next.
Yeah, well, in case you guys didn't know, over the last, 6 months or so, all of these teams playing are the winners or qualifiers from the LANs that they participated in all across the United States, starting in February with Gatorland in Florida, ending all the way just 2 weeks ago with New England and Seattle. So let's meet the teams that are going to be playing today in order of when they qualified. First, we have My Little Henlo. They are actually the #1 seed going into this tournament. They have not dropped a single game in any of the matches that they've played. They are quite the unstoppable team, Nito.
Right, this is a team that you may have seen earlier. I mean, I know Keon was in CCA earlier. One of these players, you'll see some of these players actually on death rolls, so lots of stuff to look forward to from them. They are the #1 seed for a reason. Lots of strong names that you see on that roster already, so can't wait to see what they bring to the table with being the #1 seed.
And the next team to qualify, we have Chai Shoals. Anybody's guess on how we can pronounce this? Octopodes. That's kind of what we're running with.
Oh man,
they're coming out of Chai Shoals, and by the way, Chai Shoals is one of the longest running Splatoon LANs in the scene. Shout out to Froppy for keeping it going. And they haven't really had many competitive. They're typically friendlies, but they chose to do a competitive tournament specifically for this qualifier, and we are greatly looking forward to seeing what they can do, Keon.
Yeah, I'm greatly excited to see what this team coming out of Chai Shoals is going to do. Definitely recognize a handful of members, especially Leonidas, which we've seen them before from Take Your Meds a while back. So want to see what this group has in store for us. And I feel like with this team, of course, coming in from the last seed, I'm excited to see how they perform in the big stage here, Falco.
It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's head over to the West Coast for Booyah Bay. This is a team out of San Jose, California, the only team to qualify with 5 players on their roster. So they came fully stacked. All 5 of them are expected to be playing today, Nito. It is going to be quite the showing for them.
Right, and just same story that we saw with My Little Henlo. A few familiar names here. One of them that's sticking out to me is going to be Helix. You may have known them from Osmosis last year. But either way, this is going to be... It's funny enough, this is the only team with 5 players on their LCS roster, and they've been playing with each other for a very long time, so what better way to celebrate their LAN Championship, qualifying them by coming together one more time to see what they can do as a 4 seed.
It's going to be a lot of fun to watch. Let's head down south to Texas to look at H-Town Splashdown's team, their qualifying team. This LAN had the largest showing of them all. 18 registered teams who showed up, a lot of them on the CCA side, Keon. But we have Tormy, Woof, Guapa, and Star Lullaby playing today.
Yeah, this H-Town qualifier had a lot of big storylines. I believe they took out Stormy's team coming out of the qualifiers group, so this team gets to participate in this LAN Championship Showdown, of course, getting to compete with the friends, and of course, apparently with the H-Town venue, all the coffee recliner. Why not get coffee every day? So love to see what this group has, of course, with Tormy, Woof, and Guapa, and Star, of course, names very familiar in the scene. It's time to see what this group is made of here, Falco.
And heading west a little bit more, Sunset Surge, we have Prickly Pear. This is quite the team. We've seen Shiny, we've seen Pepe travel all over the place. 3 of these 4 members actually went up in one sea battle, but hey, they are here representing Sunset Surge. And Nito, they put on quite a show every time they play.
Absolutely, and continuing this trend of having familiar names. I mean, there's 2 of you Blockborne EV, Healthy Diet Food Groups, Pepe, a team you know how I feel about. But regardless, you mentioned
the biggest Trigger Fish Zone Supremacy fan, aren't you?
Oh gosh, I can tell you, I can go on forever. But what I will go on about is the rivalry that we're going to see on display here. You mentioned H-Town Splashdown earlier. Here are their counterparts here. Here are the ones they're going to be looking out for. They're unofficial rivals, Prickly Pear, another showdown we might look forward to later on.
Well, hey, let's head to the Big Apple for Big Dapple. This is quite the showing here. The number 3 seed for this tournament, Glub Glub and Keon. These are some top-level talent that's going to be showing up today.
How do you feel about seeing Bala and Nolan on the same team here out of Big Dapple there? Of course, this group is going to be playing together for this one, and this is a very, very talented team. Also, if you see Nolan, you'll think Moonlight and Bala has been around this team for quite a long time, and they'll be representing Big Dapple there. Of course, they're really excited to face Helix and Pepe's team from the teams they're looking forward to facing, but more importantly, all the New York fans out there, you gotta rep this team, because this team is gonna be really strong coming out of this, Falco.
And we are going to head over to Boston for New Inkland. Again, this is quite a showing from some players that we've seen and known and loved. So Storm here actually qualified on the Big Dapple team, but chose to play with Z-tier players on this team, Nito. It's going to be quite the showing.
And my biggest thing I want y'all to look at is what they wrote down about what they enjoyed the most about New England. Winning this back-to-back 3 times, that is something you want to look forward to and something you're going to love to see coming out of ZT players. This is a team you may not have heard as much about. I know I definitely heard of Neptune coming out from CCA with Big Fat Sea Cows, and they're also looking forward to Glub Glub, a team that Storm knows very well about, and a team that both of them will look forward to competing with.
And going all the way west, we have Sea Battle, Sea Bubbles. Again, this team did not win. They actually lost to Prickly Pear going under Pika Di Gallo playing. But hey, this is a team that won all of their games before Grand Finals. And Keon, they are a lot of fun to watch.
A lot of fun to watch, as you mentioned before, a team that did not necessarily qualify, but because because of course Sunset Crew took over the Sea Battle and wanted by Storm, Sea Bubbles became the next team to qualify from this one. Of course, they could potentially face each other again sometime down the road. But again, a group that loves spending their time with their friends and interacting with the community, that's what it's all about. And I want to see what this Seattle based crew is able to dish out with. And Falco, I want to give one quick shout there. Saf, one of our friends, also TOing this one as well.
Woo!
That's right. I know, it's going to be so much fun. So Keon and Nito, why don't you guys walk us through the bracket and walk us through what's going on today while I give some of our streamers the proper stream key that they need to show these streams. I'm going to step away for just a second and take care of that, but you guys take it away.
You know, Nito, this bracket will feature an 18 bracket, of course. Shout outs to our seeding friends out there that is able to seed these teams right out of the gate here. As you get a little preview of our bracket, of course, it's an 8-team double elimination setup here. You got Gatorland's representation, My Little Henlo taking on Chai Shoals again. Coming to this one, Nito. My Little Henlo, by the way, you're gonna the #1 overall seed coming into this. And more importantly, Nito, I'm curious to see how the rest of this all plays out right away here, especially with the teams that we see.
I mean, I mentioned the Arizona-Texas rivalry. I'm looking at Prickly Pear versus Siku got kicked out, because if I'm Pepe, you're probably also playing it, but if I'm in Arizona and if I'm in Texas, I'm looking particularly at Dio. I know Dio's watching, but I want to keep an eye out on that match, because that is a huge rivalry set that we have on round 1. No better way to start it.
Yeah, that round 1 match should be intriguing. And Falco, I think you're back here with us for now. I think with this 8-team double elimination setup, I know a lot of these matches will be coming up here soon, close to the top of the hour right now, but this is going to be a lot of fun to watch, especially with the coverage that you guys will be getting to see here in just a few quick moments here, Falco.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And again, we're going to be showing live look-ins in every match. We can actually show you a little bit of preview right now of what that's going to look like as some of these teams are kind of getting ready, getting into their lobbies. And this is what we're going to be showing, not just this scene, but we're going to be doing look-ins on individual matches all tournament long, just so you guys can catch all the action. Of course, we hope that you can have as many streams open as you possibly can, but hey, if you can't, this is the place to be to catch all the action. If you are an NFL person and watch NFL Red Zone with Scott Hansen, hey, this is kind of the style in the broadcast that we're going to be trying to run with. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Again, a lot of these teams still just trying to get into the lobbies and everything. But, let's talk about how this tournament actually started, too, because a lot of the tournaments will, we've been broadcasting a few of them on SplatoonTourney, just a lot of the locals that happen. So like Sea Battle, H-Town, New Inkland, just a lot of these tournaments, at least 6 of the 8. Let's go through them one by one, at least of all the teams that are qualifying here, to show you just how the region of where we are covering, which is absolutely fantastic. You can see we've got coast to coast covered here. We've got the South, we've got the Midwest, none in Ohio, which is fine. We have Riptide, that's okay. I won't beat myself up over it. But we have 2
over later.
Yeah, not right now at least, but we have 2 in the New England area, and again, it's just so nice that we have all of these great local TOs who wanted to be a part of this broadcast too. When we were talking about it, when we were brainstorming it, everyone is like, yes, we want to do this. We want to be a part of it. So of course they all had to run locals that ran as qualifiers from the months of February through April. They all did. They all went fantastic, and we're so happy that we're going to be broadcasting the best of the best. And a lot of these locals, they at minimum had 8 teams participate. That's 64 players at the local. Some of them even went up to 18, like H-Town, like we mentioned, at 18 participating teams, which is absolutely crazy. Keon and Nito, now unfortunately we didn't get to go to any of them. Now Nito, I'm not sure, did you go to an H-Town in the past or no?
No, I have not, unfortunately. Being a student at the University of Nebraska has left me a little landlocked here, both literally and metaphorically. But the good news is there is another H-Town splashdown coming up, so I might have to make a visit in the summer. I just might.
Yeah, the one closest to me would be Chai Shoals, so I keep eyeing him like, ooh, when is a good time for me to go? When is a good time? Having a 10-month-old, it's never the perfect time. I'll just put it that way. But hey, Keon, there's been other great lands that have been popping up too, not a part of this, but like Twin Squiddies. There's been just a lot of other locals too. SoCali's been kind of popping up as well. So it's been a lot of fun. But let's take a look at a quad view and see what's going on while some of these players are getting ready. As some of these rooms are now being formed, we can see here that it looks like Prickly Pear versus Siku got kicked out. That's actually going to be a game that I am so interested in watching, because the beef that the Sunset Surge and H-Town teams throw at each other is like, it's so fun. It's so fun to watch. It's so fun to be a part of. And, we get to sit on the sidelines. And then when we made the bracket, we're like, ooh, they're going to face off in round 1. This is perfect. But yeah, here you can see exactly which teams are facing each other in the first round. Seattle is going to be facing New York's, San Jose. Bouillabaisse is going to be facing Z-tier players. That's going to be on SplatoonTourney 1. So really cool that we have all these games showing. And we're going to be keeping you guys informed with all the highlights. We're going to be getting you pretty much all the information that we possibly can, doing all these live look-ins. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
It's gonna be so much fun to watch all these matchups play out. Of course, there's two an even fun storyline with H-Town versus Sunset Surge right out of the game. The first round is gonna be so much fun to watch. And you mentioning the shout out to Twin Squiddies, that is like the one local I need to make a stopover for. That's like the closest one to me, and they don't have a representation because of course we don't have quite yet. Oh, shout out to the TOs that are managing that one. But yeah, these are gonna be an interesting set of rounds coming up here, and especially with the really unique coverage that we got coming up here. Falco, the 4-stream layout, if you want to watch us here in the main Splatoon tournament, hear us talk about it, this is the place. So I'm Falco, you have no idea how excited I am to watch all these sets play out, and I think a lot of the games are about to be set up here soon.
Yeah, they're all getting situated. So again, this is a first, I think, in the Splatoon scene. I know there've been streams where they've had quad streams before, but I don't think really to the extent like this, because I know you guys can't see, but like if I look at my Discord in our SplatoonTourney server, there's 5 voice chat rooms with people who are doing their stream. Like it's active here. It's pretty crazy. Man. And we had a pretty big meeting before this, just so everybody could kind of get situated too, and we could kind of get a few of the buggy things taken care of. But yeah, teams are getting ready again. So Keon, for you, which match in particular, which one are you going to keep your eye on?
H-Town versus Sunset Surge is going to be my first one. I mean, at this point, there's almost no contest right out of the gate here because Neo kind of just teased it up there. Dio, if I'm not mistaken, I think Dio actually went to Sunset Surge as well to compete over there. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken as well, which I think that's actually correct. So I mean, at this point, we got to watch a little matchup between Houston and Arizona in this particular side. My second matchup, I'm a little biased towards, of course, is My Little Henlo and the folks out of Chai Shoals. I'm just gonna say the folks out of Chai Shoals for that one, but that might be because of region. That is gonna be purely a regional bias game. I mean, Falco, what's also unique too, but not just with the matches we're watching, also some regional representation as well. I think some people in chat will probably be rooting for their respective regions to do well.
Yeah, and I think that's what's the most exciting part, because like, of course, all these teams are, on paper they are pickup teams, which is fine, and we know now is like, oh, pickup culture, yada yada yada. But there's so much more to root for now when you have a city, when you have a state that you're rooting for, because you want your local to win. Obviously you can have friends who are participating, maybe you do want them to win, that's fine, but you are rooting for your specific home team. So Nito, team that you are interested in. I feel like the easy answer here could be Prickly Pear versus Siku got kicked out, but we do have the 4 versus 5 seed here of Bouya Bay versus New England. That one, again, is happening shortly on SplatoonTourney 1. That one on paper is going to be the closest game.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't want to hear me talk about how much I want to see Texas finally get their one-uppance against Arizona, it's probably going to be Z-tier players versus no boys allowed, simply because of how close it is. I mean, looking at all these team names, I mentioned Helix from Osmosis earlier, and you also got like a bit of the present, a bit of the old. You got a bit of the new here with Z-tier players. Neptune coming in from Big Fat Z Cows, one of the best and one of the brightest Division 3 teams coming up. I also want to keep an eye out for Glub and Sea Bubbles, because Sea Bubbles has that interesting story of not being one of the qualifying, if not the only qualifying team to not win their tournament, only because part of the winner, Pico de Gallo, was 3/4 of Prickly Pear. So Sea Bubbles has that little, I don't want to say dark horse, but they definitely do have a bit of a sneaky side to them.
All right, that's true. Hey, we have our first match that started. It is going to be No Boys Allowed versus C-tier players. Let's go to that game and give you guys a listen in. All right, so I guess we don't have the audio from the commentators for this specific game, but that's fine. We can kind of give you our light commentary, but it looks like right now, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's hard for us to see. Okay, so that is going to be on the side of, I think, Z-tier players who are starting off pretty strong. So if we could look in just to that game right now on SplatoonTourney 1, we'll try and give you a closer look. Okay, so yeah, it is going to be No Boys Allowed, who finally do have the zone. Z-tier players, they did get it down to 9, so that's a very good push, but it looks like they are going to be locked out. A few of them trying to come back in, but this game in particular, Keon, started off very strong. Now, of course, we're starting on a very unconventional map and mode here for Hammerhead Bridge, but still a solid lockout start.
I think every team having to face the prospect of Hammerhead Bridge zones across the board is going to be pretty intriguing to deal with, because that's always a tricky part as well, because I mean nobody really practices Hammerhead Zone unless you've been playing a lot of top level and been playing zones only tournament for the most part. So Falco, I think that's kind of what we're going to be noticing here right out of the gate. So I'm going to be intrigued to see how this matchup plays out results wise.
Yeah, let's take a look over on Splatoon Tourney 2 real quick. Prickly Pear versus Siku got kicked out. Again, that match is also underway right now too. So we can see here Pepe trying to push up. So they don't have the lead right now. H-Town has the lead. Again, H-Town, the 7 seed for this particular, for this tournament, really showing a strong start. Torm is going to be trying to come in, is going to be going down. Prickly Pear, they have the zone. I don't know how long they can really hold on to it, because H-Town, they seem to be coming in pretty strong, but a few of their 3 are going to be going down, Nito.
Right, almost too strong there. They've already 3 players. That's going to be the lead swap for on the favor of Prickly Pear. A very scary situation for both of these players, Tormy and Stara, but they end up getting out of that just fine. It's worth noting that Siku got kicked out, made their way here because of a huge upset against their grand finals counterparts. So it's going to be interesting to see how they do the rest of the set, but as it is right now, Prickly Pear is going to get first dibs at the W as they take game 1.
Prickly Pear taking game 1. Let's head back to Splatoon Tourney 1, where No Boys Allowed versus Z-tier players. We can see here that it looks like No Boys Allowed trying to hold on to keep the lead. I believe they're in the green. Unfortunately, we don't have the proper ink colors. It's a little trickier for us to read this as well, but they are going to be able to take the lead here. So yeah, it's going to be No Boys Allowed going to be getting the win there in game 1. So they're going to be taking that. Let's head over to Splatoon Tourney 3. Their first match is now underway as well, as we take a look at My Little Henlo versus Octopoddies here as they break in. Sorry if it's a little fuzzy for you guys. It's a little fuzzy for us too. But you know, we have a lot that's going on here. And we'll take a look too also at Splatoon Tourney 4 as Glub Glub versus Sea Battle. They are also underway right now, where I believe that is Glub Glub with the early lead, with that early cap, and in their lockout position now, Nito.
Right, this is the team I was talking about. You do see a lot of notable names here. Balloon, you got Nolan, you got Keen says GM. Lots of good stuff here coming out from Glub Glub, but Sea Bubble finally gets their chance at the tower here. A few special coming out from the side of Glub Glub, but Sea Bubble rather, doing fairly well, holding on to zone here. 4 minutes left to go in that match, and the zone will swap again.
Yeah, and right now, My Little Henlo still doing what they did best, proving why they're the #1 seed, just getting those picks as they're trying to run around, getting more picks. One of them is going to go down as well. It's going to be pretty hard for them to break back in if they're Octopoddies, as they're going to be going down. But again, this really is to no surprise just how strong My Little Henlo is. Again, their team, they've won weeklies. I think a few SOSs. You know, they've had, I'm sure, a few different players play as a part of different types of pickups and whatnot. But they're going to be showing a very dominant game here in their first game. Right now, the only game going on right now, while the others are queuing up, is on Splatoon Tourney 4, Glub Glub versus Sea Battle's Sea Bubbles, and this one is a more contested match now, Keon.
Yeah, this suddenly got a lot more contested right away, while the other 3 matches are still weighing along. So I love the little back and forth that we saw right away there with that wipeout that is showing on the score. So it kind of feels like it lends a credence here, Falco, with how closely contested the 2 teams that we're seeing here. Between the representative of Sea Battle, and more importantly, this is the representative from Big Dapple's Hand, which has a lot of heavy hitting players themselves. So it's intriguing to see that this is going as back and forth as we go right along. The more this game progresses, Wipeout is going to be there, so this could be a big surprise.
Yeah, that is going to be huge, especially on a map like Hammerhead Bridge. That is going to be really big. So, I mean, not that this map ever really comes up in comp. Honestly, this map is only here because we most of the tournaments have a meme map of some sort. But if we used every meme map, we would have 8 for the lanes. And we're not going to do that. So during our TO meeting, we're like, okay, we'll choose 1, and we did Hammerhead Zones, which, to be fair, was in Ludi at the very beginning of Splatoon 3. So if Does that give us any credit? I have no idea, but it is out of left field. But you know what's not out of left field here is Glub getting these good picks here, as Nilla and their teammates are doing a really good job on their lockout now. Nito, they seem to be holding this one down pretty well.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, we're looking at two players already going down, one on each side, but it doesn't really matter because Glub is that close. Oh, a little bit of a scare there at the beginning, but that is a game 1 going towards Glub. And talk about game 1, we have a game 2 on the other side here.
Yeah, SplatoonTourney 2 here, Sunset Surge, H-Town, Sunset Surge getting that first win. They look to be in pretty decent control here on Rainmaker Humpback, pushing down to 41. Of course, turning that elbow is always going to be tricky, as Tormy is going to be trying to get some picks here. You know, the comps here, who's on Bamboo for Sunset Surge? I couldn't see who that was.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering too. It's like who?
Oh, that's
is,
probably
who
Shiny.
Is
That's probably Shiny, of course.
Oh, it probably is.
Looks like Blopwar. It's Blopwar.
Oh, it is. Oh, it is. Okay. Oh, okay on Siku. Okay, never mind then. Okay. Yeah, they're the one who's picking out the Rainmaker. Okay, interesting. Okay, so there's a Squiffer. Okay, so Shiny's probably on Squiffer then, for Prickly Pear. Well, okay.
Yeah, but see, this is exactly what I was wondering about too. But there is, man, just seeing all this action, also just playing in front of us is really unique to see. Unique to see. As we got some great vanish shots. By the way, shout out to all of our streamers. By the way, Falco for being able to give us all the beats that we have, as well as we get that first push going right along. And actually, I'm also just trying to recognize like some of the other members here out of H-Town and Sunset Surge. It's also giving me a bit here, Falco.
Yeah, there's a lot of good action. I agree. I'm intrigued by this push here as Siku got kicked out. So they do have the lead, which is really good. They're going to be trying to run it back to mid. Guapa's got it. They don't have a player advantage quite yet. 3v3 situation now going on. So we'll see if they can bend this elbow. And SplatoonTourney 3 is now starting game 2. Again, My Little Henlo and that is going to be Octopoddies starting on this same map and mode that we have seen before. So they're going to be hopping into this one right now as they get situated. But going back to Prickly Pear and Siku got kicked out. It looks like they pushed to 19, so that's going to be H-Town pushing into 19. A very good push there with 2 minutes 15 seconds. Nito, they're in a much better position than they were before.
And anytime you're playing Humpback Rainmaker, the magic number is usually around 19 remaining, 20 usually, because that means you're sitting pretty, you're going to be doing fairly well, but unless you lose numbers like that, it's going to be a big change for them. The bomb right in front of Shiny almost stops them, but no, instead it's going to be Guapa there with the, I believe that was a junior, but it doesn't matter because there's another lead change right in the nick of time. As soon as Prickly Pear was looking for it, they have the lead now. Lots of lead swaps coming out from that side. Prickly Pear and Siku got kicked out. A match as close as ever.
Yeah, let's focus here on SplatoonTourney 2. It looks like, I think, okay, it did get dropped down. So yeah, Siku, they were able to drop it as Sunset Surge, they push it to 4, which is really good. Now 3 are going to go down. That's going to be really big for Prickly Pear as they're trying to push them out and lock them out. They can just hold on for, I think, the minute here remaining. And they should be in a pretty good position to do that. So, I don't have any concerns here. Let's see if they can do it. Eevee's going to be the one carrying the Rainmaker, trying to push up. How far can they go? They're going to be trying to avoid some of these obstacles. I don't know if they'll quite get the knockout, but they're going to be keeping this pressure that's going on right now. So, I mean, H-Town, they really got to try and do something, and now's the perfect opportunity, Kyo, because 3 players on Prickly Pear were down.
I was gonna say this is pretty much the prime opportunity for them to basically wrestle this one back, as we get to see that Prickly Pear lead. It's always the fun thing to deal with when you're watching Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker overall, even with the pick onto that Rainmaker. That's gonna be the thing. That's gonna be the thing I'm gonna be curious to see with this final push. Of course, 20 seconds left to go on the clock, and this is always where things get a little treacherous, really, for any team that plays this one through and through. So I mean, Falco, this was the big opportunity for H-Town to see if they can get on the board.
Yeah. Yeah, all right. And now we have 3 games started, or 3 games on Humpback Rainmaker going on right now. We can see My Little Henlo and Octopotties. This one is actually a close game, about 3 minutes in. So this is definitely a major change of pace from what we had seen before. As you can see, Henlo there on the wiper taking care of some business, as well as Clover is trying to take care of the Rainmaker. While they don't have a player advantage quite yet, now they do. So this could be Octopotties' opportunity to push. They don't have the lead quite yet, but look at that. As I can't really read the name who picked it up to try and take it, but it was a close one. Also, we can see here that Prickly Pear getting that game 2 win against Seek, who got kicked out. So they're going to be at match point here right now. Let's focus on the 2 games that are still going on here. Glub Glub versus Sea Bubble. This game just started right now. Look at that, pushing all the way to 12. Let's take a focus in on Splatoon 4 so we can get a closer look to see which team in particular scored and got that push. That is going to be Glub Glub, I believe, that got down to 17.
That might be it where Glow got it down to 17. I think that definitely confirmed it for sure. So I believe we do need to grab a quick score on the board there as well, because this is the game 2 on that side of the fence. So want to see how this all plays out overall. It looked like one team pretty much had a full push on that Rainmaker all the way down to the 17-point marker, but obviously you and I both know Falco is it's a very volatile map overall still in this Humpback Pump Track Rainmaker map.
Yeah, it can really be anybody's game whenever we're in situations like this too. So we'll see. That's going to be a nice pick there from Mar onto Nolan. That's really good. Okay, so now here is that's going to be Sea Bubble's opportunity to try and push it up again. They only got to 17 or 77, so they haven't gotten past that first checkpoint quite yet. But let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 3, check in on Gatorland versus Chai Shoals, as it looks like, oh, that was, okay, so you can't see quite yet, but we can see it there. That's going to be, Octopotties actually has the lead right now with 34. They're going to be taking it. So now My Little Henlo on to overtime here. Okay, very interesting. I did not see them in this position. Let's test their game audio to see if we can get a live look in on the comms. We will mute ourselves for just a second. Is Lexi, but it's gonna. How did they avoid that bomb? Okay, now they're down.
What?
That was absolutely crazy. But Octopotties, they tied it up at the 1-1. This is a major victory for them, Keon.
That was a major victory. Again, if we looked at the seeding there, that was that 1-1 tie coming into that one. That's a pretty good result if you're I'm gonna have to also figure out how to pronounce the team. It's Octopotties. I'm just gonna pronounce it as that. On 3, because I think we also got 2 games going on right now in 2 and 4 specifically, especially 4 right now, with Big Devil and Seabell still going on with about 1 minute and 10 left to go there, Falco. But I'm gonna be excited to see how this push can materialize right away.
Yeah, that was an incredible push there. Focusing on this game right now, Sea Bubbles, they did have 3 specials at their ready, but really nothing quite yet, because last we checked they were at 77, still at 77 with just under a minute remaining right now. But you know, it's gonna be, I think it's just gonna be stalemate. Prickly Pear and Siku got kicked out. They are moving on to their 3rd game, Flame Blitz Scorch Gorge here, and it looks like I believe is H-Town, if we could go to that game on SplatoonTourney 2. They have, I'm sorry, it's Umami Ruins. They have the lead to at 59. So yeah, that's going to be pretty big for Prickly Pear if they can get this knockout and get the, I'm sorry, it's Siku got kicked out who has the lead at 59, which they desperately need if they want to progress the set. So Nito, this could be a turning point, but not when there's 3 members down.
No, absolutely not. That's a double Zuka popped at the same time. No staggering, no daisy chaining. It's just going to go straight towards that basket. That's what I love about these players, is that they like to go fast and loud, and fast and loud they have been doing so well. Now they need some more power clams to follow up with it, and they do. Eevee's going to come up with them. 38 remaining. It's not going to be the new number. 35 now thanks to Blopper for Prickly Pear. H-Town does nothing to respond with, it seems like, for the rest of this set. And if Eevee has actually come up with a few more, coming it down to below 20 remaining, so that's even bigger. I mean, look at how far back Seek got kicked out, was getting pushed back, and then there's another wipeout as well. Prickly Pear doing everything to make sure they can close this short little rivalry quick. And if Pepe makes that, that is going to be a 3-0 sweep for Prickly Pear. This is going to be best of 5 all the way through, and this is the best way of showing it. Prickly Pear taking one against Seek, who got kicked out.
Prickly Pear, the first team to win. While we were doing that, Glub got a win over Sea Bubble, so they are up 2-0. Let's check in on the game, the only game that's in action right now, My Little Henlo versus Octopotties. Going into here, game 3, again tied 1-1. We apologize for the rendering. There's really nothing we can do about that. But of course, you guys can watch this game native on SplatoonTourney 3 if you want to hear the audio from there. So I believe, you know, I'm still kind of again, I don't want to discredit Octopotties for that, but when you're facing a team like My Little Henlo, you just don't really expect them to go down like that. And of course, it's Remake or anything can happen. But Clan Blitz, things could be a little bit different. We never know. So let's take a look actually at the bracket right now, since one of our sets is finally ended, I believe. Yeah. So Prickly Pear is going to be moving on. They are going to be facing the winner of Glub versus Sea Bubble. Again, we've seen that Glub was in a position where they seem to be, you know, in a good position to move on. Siku got kicked out, the first team to move on to the losers bracket. So they'll be facing the loser of Glub versus Sea Bubble. And then we have a tied set. We have a tied set, Nito, which is always so fun.
And it's the most, I don't want to say the most astonishing, it's definitely a reason both of these teams are here, but it's the most eye-popping set to me that's on the tie, because of how close these two teams usually are, or how close these two teams don't seem to be on paper. I mean, you have My Little Henlo, a team with names that appear almost all the time in high-level competitive Splatoon, and Octopotties, a team with lots of history on their own side, but when you look at the teams between both of them, or when you look at the history between both of them, it's almost no surprise that it's so close here.
Yeah. And also we just got word now that I think Storm from Z tier players, their fire alarm went off. So that I think they might be in a dorm or something, but they're so that game will be a little bit delayed. I don't know if they found a sub or if they're back. I think they're back actually. I think they're back now. So again, that's why that one is a little bit delayed with no boys allowed. Only up 1-0 right now, but let's check over on the side of Sea Bubble versus Glub, as it is, you know, just starting once again right now. And 3 are going to be going down pretty quickly. I think on the side of Sea Bubble, as Glub is going to be, oh no, that's 3 down on Glub as Sea Bubble is going to be trying an offensive push here with Cooler, with the bubble. We'll see what they can do here. They don't have any power clams formed at the right now. They do. They finally get the power clam in. So this, I think, will be a good push for Sea Bubble.
Right, no kidding. It's a good push for Sea Bubble indeed, and a good way to start things off on Game 3, especially when you have Glub, your opponents on match point. Remember, Glub is going to be the team with Balloon, Nolan, Kane says GM, and a name that if I had seen it on Blur, maybe I would have been able to tell you right off the bat. But that's all fine, all good. We still have lots to cover here. The game just started. It's going to be Nilla, by the way, the name I was looking for earlier. But looking at Sea Bubble and Glub is actually doing fairly well here in terms of positioning. I believe that will be Glub. And they are looking to close this out with how well. Look at how much purple's already on the side, or right next to this bracket. Things are looking very good for them. And
now no boys allowed and Z tier players finally back in starting their second game right now as hopefully Storm is back and settled from whatever excursions they unfortunately had to go on, and they're back. And that's going to be a very quick cap there from Ren on, I believe that's a side of Z tier players, who's going to be getting that quick dunk down to 39 at that checkpoint. So again, a change of pace here against No Boys Allowed. We'll see if that push is going to be done. I don't know. It's always hard, always hard to tell on maps and modes like this. But we'll take a closer look here and see if they gain this push, as Neptune's going to be getting the crab out. Rainmaker's going to be resetting. So a very good first push from Z tiers. When you can get an opening push like that, Nito, in the first minute, you're setting yourself up for success.
Yeah, no kidding. And especially as a competitive player, if you know that you're able to keep them back like this, if you know you're still able to get these picks despite having to bring this Rainmaker all the way back, you know you're in a great spot for the rest of this match, especially when 49er sneaks by a pick with that Zipcaster. Great stuff here that we're seeing from C-tier players, but we're waiting for No Boys Allowed to try to make this sort of comeback here. Actually, fun thing I want to point out, while we were on these matches, My Little Henlo is now in match point, winning one against the Octopuddies, something that it's a little it's a shared struggle between all of us today.
You know, Cactus on the Cactus passage yesterday even like gave Saf here's how you say it, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll remember that, and then I forgot it. So you know, there is a right way to say it. We're saying it the wrong way, but like you mentioned, My Little Henlo getting a quick win there in game 3. So again, they are up 2-1. Moving on to, is it Tower Control Sturgeon? Okay. And they seem to have a very good push here to start off. Actually, Kami, no, that is Octopuddies. Let's go with Octopuddies instead. I think that would be better.
Sounds good.
Maybe. Okay, let's go with that.
Sounds
they're the ones getting to 68. It's a very strong showing for them. Again, as we look into Sea Bubble and Glub Glub now, they're just under a minute remaining in their match on SplatoonTourney 4. Still a very close game of Power Clam at the ready. Can they push it in? No. Nilla's going to be getting the stop. So again, that's going to be Sea Bubble in the yellow, Glub Glub in the purple. Glub Glub up 2-0 and has the lead, but 3 down. Oh, the delayed wipe. This could be Sea Bubble's opportunity, Nito.
Yeah, no kidding, a wipeout, and now you've got people in position. I mean, you don't need to upgrade a surf quality here. It doesn't matter. You know exactly what's going on when you see wipeout like that, and it looks like we might be in for a lead change. Yes, we do. There's one player scurrying off on the side of Sea Bubble. They made their case, though. One more would have gotten him into overtime, but it doesn't matter as long as you have one player staying up like that. All you need to do is sit back, wait for Glub Glub to make the moves, and the moves they are making already. There's one Kraken coming in from Glub Glub. 3 players down, 4 players down. Wipeout right in the nick of time for him. That is going to be a win for Sea Bubble.
All right, and Keon, a lot of great action going on. Pardon my voice. But we can see one. Okay, so Splatoon 4. So yeah, it just ended there. Like we mentioned, with the lead change and everything, this is going to be quite the set. Oh, it's so close. So close. But you know, Sea Bubble able to get it again. Another set going to at least a game 4, like we had seen before. So that was pretty impressive. That was exciting. But let's take a look here. What are your thoughts looking at this match between No Boys Allowed and Z-tier players, Keon?
Yeah, right away, from what I see between No Boys Allowed and Z-tier players right away. I mean, it looks like so far very close matchup, obviously with the delay in mind right to start. But it looks like if the colors are to be believed right now, New England obviously getting that initially, that is going to help their cause with that 27 seconds left to go. Of course, when you're trying to win that second game, you want to put that in a 1-to-1 tie, especially in that best of 5 right away. So the folks representing Boston will need to root hard for this New England squad to take it home, but Bouillabaisse is going to definitely try to look for other answers. But I think dropping that one might be okay for now. So might be a nail biter finish on the way home. They just gotta get this Rainmaker pushed up just a little bit more to start. So let's see how that all plays, which it does not look like it won't be the case. So that's that for that particular matchup, and all matchups right now in intermission here, Falco.
Yeah, we didn't show it, but My Little Henlo getting that win over Octopuddies there, 3-1. Let's take an updated look at our bracket too, to show you guys the current standings and what potentially we could be seeing in the next few rounds. So My Little Henlo getting that win. Again, they're going to be facing the winner, excuse me, of No Boys Allowed and Z-Tier players. They just finished their second match. Scores yet to be reported. We will get that updated very soon. Glub Glub, C Bubble, this is going to be the one we want to look at. Match point here for Glub Glub, Nito. Are they going to be able to pull it off?
It's going to be close, and I know it's a lot. It's something you're going to hear a lot from analysts and commentators, including me. But Glub Glub and C Bubble are going back and forth so much throughout these matches. I'm having to keep an eye on to the multicast myself just because I would need to see, because it's so close to what these two are going for. It looks like something that on paper Glub Glub should be able to cruise by very quickly there. But I mean, C Battle, despite being the one team in this entire tournament that hasn't won the tournament itself, they're doing so well, and it's going to show why exactly they've been put in here, despite what their record may have shown.
Game 4, or Splatoon Tourney 1 and Splatoon Tourney 4 going on to their next games 3 and 4 respectively. So again, we mentioned that Glub Glub trying to get in a position where they can just knock this out. No Boys Allowed Z-Tier players got a little bit delayed, but they are back in action here. Both of these games going on at the same time. The only 2 sets remaining, as we have 2 winners already from our other 2 matches. Keon, so C Bubble, they got the win there, a much needed win in game 3. Are they going to be in a good position here, do you think, to get this next one as well?
They so far with the way they're playing, they should be in prime position, especially with this one being a very interesting tower control map here in Sturgeon Shipyard. So this one can get a little awkward to maneuver there, but with C Bubbles in play, this could be their chance to strike big. Again, especially against Big Devil, which is a very strong team, especially on paper. You have to put all of them together at that stage and see how you can deal with just a powerhouse hailing out of Big Dapple so far. So again, love to see how this match plays out. But obviously, a very important matchup for C Bubble if they want to keep this one going.
Yeah, this game is headed back to neutral. In the other match going on right now, No Boys Allowed to Z-Tier place. Also neutral. Look at that triple. Oh my goodness. That was they better clip. We want to show that on our intermissions scene. So let's hope who's the stream? Is this Splatoon Tourney? This is 4. Let's hope Saf clipped that. Saf is the one who's streaming on that channel, so let's hope she's got that for us, because we want to be able to watch that again. But let's take a look over on Splatoon Tourney 1 again. This set is tied 1-1. Ooh, this is going to be a very strong push. This is going to be for Bouillabaisse, who has the lead, getting down to 35. So that was a very strong push. I think that was all in one as well, so we'll be keeping an eye out for that. Of course, keeping you updated. Let's head back over to Splatoon Tourney 4 right now, where it looks like Big Dapple able to push down to 35. Yes, 35. They are still going as they are approaching this final checkpoint. So they're in a good position as well. Just about 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining. We're going to see how C Bubble counters this, Nito, but it doesn't look like it's going to be a very easy task.
No, but that triple there, the delayed triple is going to be a good start for the team from the Puget Sound. Looking for another way to get at least past this first checkpoint. That's going to be the big struggle for them. I know watching this stream on one of the mini streams that multi-viewer, it's been a struggle for them to get past this first checkpoint, especially with what Glub Glub was bringing. But when you have an A-leader making plays like that, maybe it's not too difficult after all. They're already at 40, 30, 35, 35. Now they're getting past that lead before I can even say it. They've already gotten the lead now. This is looking very well here for a team that was struggling earlier.
Yeah, they were struggling earlier, now have seemed to be picking it up again. Taking a look over here on Splatoon 21 again. So C-tier players had not really had any progress yet. They do have some power claims, but it's just so hard for them to break back in when you're facing a very tough team like No Boys Allowed, because they are just all over the place. And remember, No Boys Allowed, they have 5 players on their team. They're able to bench somebody, so that's definitely an advantage to them. No other team has 5 players. Every other team besides No Boys Allowed has 4, so they're able to be a little bit more picky on who they want to have, because I don't think there's anybody that's really a designated sub or anything But let's take a closer look here, as Kuffa is going to be trying to push in with Muty as well. They're going to be getting that push in. Is there going to be any follow-up? I don't quite see any yet, as 49ers trying to just clean up, take care of some business, but they have about a minute left to try and do so, and also a minute left on our other game as well. But the tower is solely in Glub's on Glub's side, looking over on that match as well, so they're going to be in a very good position. We will focus on our split screen for the duration of these games, as both teams who have the lead seem to be in pretty solid command, as Glub seems to be in a very good position to knock this out. Keon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that with that lead change happening in the last handful of seconds there, with all the fights that are happening, I think that is gonna be the KO. Now I need to look closely here. That was Sea Bubbles on that side. Thank you for the quick view into this one, because that was the KO. If we do see Sea Bubble, because these appear to be, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, so it's Ball. So that is actually Big Dapple's group there. That actually won it all there and that was that 3-1 finish. So that said just entered final. Going over to Splatoon 21, which I believe is our only live set left to go here, Falco, in about the last 3 seconds. It's about the 35-point remain. The overtime gonna be a tough assignment. So we're gonna end up having a winner here. I believe I looked very closely into this matchup. It might be Z tier players, if I am not mistaken, happening here soon. So this will give us some time to get your breath here, Falco.
Yeah, and that was their opportunity to get that power clam in. Yep. It's not going to work. So Z-tier players, yeah, they are going to be up 2-1 for this this match. And like you mentioned, Keon, this is the only one that's happening right now. Let's take a look at the bracket currently to see which teams are moving on, which teams are going to the losers bracket. So right now, no upsets. We have the number 1, number 2, and number 3 seed moving on right now. As expected, the 4 and 5 going to a game 4. Again, they were a little bit delayed. But hey, all of that action is over on Splatoon. SplatoonTourney. That one's on SplatoonTourney 1.
I believe it's 1.
1. Okay, 1. I have all of them pulled up, but I always forget which one is which. But yeah, you guys can watch that on SplatoonTourney 1. Let's see. Do we have our highlights ready to show? Okay, so we've okay. Once they're ready, we can start rolling them, and we will show you some of the action that you may have missed from our live look and broadcast, because we want to see it. So let's take a look here. This is from SplatoonTourney 2. Prickly Pear versus Siku got kicked out. A little bit laggy, but what are you gonna do? That's gonna be Funky Eevee getting a nice pick there. And then using their special.
I mean, honestly, even through all the frames that were rendering, but again, there's a lot that's happening behind the scenes. That there, Falco, from what we see, there as. I think that current roller just getting the quad would really helped out, and you guys can pretty much see where we're going with this one, with the lead obviously changing hands at the final and seconds of that, and it looks like just pause right there about that 19-11 difference, and still counting down. So that's kind of how that set played out for their on Sunset Surge's end. So love to see kind of all the action that's kind of condensed out here. Of course, we're still trying to iron out all the tech issues. It's fun figuring that stuff out, but it felt like that set between Sunset Surge and H-Town in that regard, that 3-0 kind of really illustrated how well that team played. As Falco, not to steal your thunder here, I think Splatoon 21 is actually about to get your game started here, because they're about to load in. I was thinking, yes, they are.
Yep, they are loading in. So again, both of these games, or all these games for these teams, have been back and forth. There really hasn't been one dominant team either way. Again, as they go into game 4, Sturgeon Shipyard here. So, Nito, I mean, it's hard for us to really analyze. I don't know off the top of my head if there's really been any comp changes. Surprisingly, it's hard to notice that when you have 4 concurrent matches going on at the same time.
No kidding.
Yeah, what are your thoughts initially?
I mean, I'm looking at what No Boys Allowed has got out. They got the mini Splatling, which is interesting because it's not the semi, so they don't have that bubble yet, but they do have other specials at their disposal, you're going to see one of them come out. That is going to be the stamp, which is exactly why you want to pull it out if you're no boys allowed. That stamp is becoming very useful, especially after the buffs that came in a few months ago. And this is a huge opening, actually, for no boys allowed. The boys in the Bay Area, or rather the no boys in the Bay Area. I think they've made their stance on boys very clear. But either way, they're going to do the second checkpoint. Look at how much splattage is going on our screens here. If splattage is the right word, and I'll find out very soon here. But no picks with that stamp. Things are looking very good here for no boys allowed, especially when they still have reinforcements coming in fast like that. But Z-tier players shutting them down very quickly, looking to get this push of their own started.
Yeah, that was a much-needed cap there and save from New England's team, Z-tier players. Getting through pretty much all the checkpoints. Dion, you really don't have any safety nets left.
No, absolutely no safety nets left, and you normally don't see a lot of certain tower control being played. And it's part of the reason why is because I feel like I'm always gonna be a broken record for every tower control map where the first to second checkpoint can get out of control in a hurry. And this is a perfect example of one where you have no boys allowed that actually able to get that past the second checkpoint and onwards. And now they can feel pretty comfortable with that lead, especially with the amount of time they actually had left on that clock. So far here, Falco, this is looking pretty decent here for no boys allowed. Z-tier players, they might be looking to contest, but obviously for Z-tier players here, Falco, they need to win this game to stay alive. And Surgeon Shipyard honestly isn't a bad map for a huge comeback too. So I'd be intrigued to see how this game plays out.
Yeah, and like basically where Neptune was positioned with their crab, I'm like, yep, that is the crab spot where you want to have an offensive push. And they did get to 39, so like you mentioned, they had a strong push, but really couldn't do anything beyond that, and couldn't excel. But that's just it. Like Nito, it's so hard when your opponent's opening push gets all the way to 18. You have so much you need to overcome.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I mean, as a competitive player, it's very easy to look at this and go, well, that's a lot we need to cover. And in a lockout-heavy map like this, it is terrifying to think about. Z-tier players just need to look at this chip by chip, just chip away at this lead. This is actually doing a pretty good job at it. If they can maintain position here, this will be a huge holdout for Z-tier players, and it looks like they're doing so just fine. As I say that, 2 players go down on each side. Z-tier players still looking to get things going for the Northeasterners. No boys allowed still holding strong here. 1:30 to go on this matchup. Definitely something we're going to keep keeping an eye on nonetheless, and something you want to keep an eye on anyway.
Yeah, we'll see if they can do that. Like you mentioned, 1:20 remaining. It's like they're slowly but surely pushing the tower, but it's in chunks, and unfortunately, you're just going to run out of time sometime, Keon. But look at this. They're finally at that last checkpoint. Can they do it? Can they push us to a game 5? The wipeout has got to seal the deal. That has got to seal the deal. Yeah. Look at all of that orange paint there. Oh my goodness, we are going to our first game 5 in round 1. That is absolutely wild. The commentators on Splatoon 1, they've got to be happy with this so far. So that's OBT and Weef, by the way, who've got that match. They're on the call for that one.
I want to hear. I'm not gonna lie, Falco. I want to hear OBT and Weave's reaction to that finale at some point down the road. Maybe we'll have to catch it later there too, because I can sense that the excitement, and you and I both know as commentators like how excited these clutch finishes can be in the last sense, because things just get so tense in those last moments there. We're gonna get our second attempted replays. Looks like it's still a little struggling right now, so we'll get that ironed out behind the scenes on that one. But I mean, Nito, I'll toss over to you, Nito. I mean, you as a player who have played on the Grillers once, still very much right now, you know how tense those finishes can get, especially as a player too. So, yeah? No kidding. I say no kidding a lot because all of these experiences are relatable, and I've been on the giving and the receiving end of it. And if you're on the giving end, you're doing just great. I mean, you were a team that supposedly in seeding, you're the underdog here. I think we're seeing right now there's no underdogs, but either way, you're looking at a 2-2 situation. Game 5, both of these teams are on edge. I guarantee you both of these teams are coming into this last map right now, which is going to be Splat Zones on Hagglefish Market, thinking about what else they can be doing differently. I love the way Neptune plays on the Crab, what I've seen from Umami Clams and what I've seen today, or what I've seen on Tower Control Ship Shape, so you might be seeing a little more of that on Splat Zones Hagglefish.
You know, Keon, one of the things you mentioned before, like, oh, we're going to have to go back and watch the VOD. Do you know how much VOD material we have that we can watch for this so far? Like, there are 5 streams, and, you know, 3 of them are going to be at least 2 hours long worth of content, and then obviously this broadcast. So we have a lot that we can unpack later on, and later on throughout the next few days. But yeah, let's hop into here for Game 5 for our live look-in. Again, the first and only Game 5 of Round 1. We are moving on to Splatzone's Hammerhead, or not Hammerhead, wow, that was Game 1. Splatzone's Hagglefish. Now, keep in mind, for this entire tournament, all of its best of 5, Games 1 and Game 5 will always be Splat Zones. Games 2, 3, 4 will be mixed between Rainmaker Tower clams, but we will be having an emphasis on zones, just like we do in Ludi.
Yeah, you know, I personally like to see zones in 1 and 5, especially, you know, you mentioned Ludi 159. You and I of course would know from the extensive amount that we covered there here on Ludi tonight. So I mean, zones is almost like the mode that feels like it feels like it's a battle of like your fundamentals and whatnot, and how you play as a team as a whole. We got to see some really cool splats, by the way, on the board too. So I mean, for this feels like it's gonna be a matchup between, obviously you have Helix and the rest of Booyah base group, and No Boys Allowed against Z tier players, kind of battling each other back and forth. And I mean, it's still really much a back and forth right now that we're witnessing here, Falco. So this could be an entertaining Game 5. Okay, I do want to comment on the fact that the Ultra Gym did get canceled for a hot second. Man. Yeah.
Pretty wild. That was 49er Nito just had some awesome plays with Zipcaster there. And of course, this is, I feel like, such a good map to use it to, because there's so many things that you can grab onto, get some key picks. And this one literally could not be any closer right now. 55-54, about 2 minutes into our game. Just a huge contest here at mid. But that one's going to go over to the side of Booyah Bay temporarily, but they have quite a few penalty points to overcome.
And what I saw there from Cleffa is exactly why I said I wanted to see more of it from the crowd, from at least both teams, especially from Neptune. But from both teams, we're seeing how well this crowd can do in funny positioning, especially on Hagglefish. You talk about Zipcaster being a good special here, and absolutely is. So is this crab, but it's ultimately going to be Z-tier players getting a few picks and moving forward. Look at this score, 55-54 remaining. It is so close that it just might go all the way, which has been a story of the match, or story of the set so far for both of these teams. I like how patient this Viper was waiting for that opening there, and has the stamp to boot. There is a pick from that stamp, and maybe another one on the way. No, there isn't, but it is a good response from No Boys Allowed, as Z-tier players able to take the zone again. Look at Cleffa here. I want to keep an eye on Cleffa here. Does get 2 picks. That is huge. But nobody there to pick the zone for Booyah Bay. New Inkland still holding on to the zone as it is. And ladies and gentlemen, do we have a Game 5 entry here? Possibly so. Yes, we do. That is going to be it. Just before a little bit of a scare there, but Analyst's Curse apparently non-existent yet.
That's it, and our first upset. The first upset that we have so far here. Absolutely crazy. Yeah, I mean, okay, a 5-4 up. Is it still an upset? Yes, on paper it is. But
absolutely.
Hey, it brought us to a Game 5, which I'm so excited for. The thing is, like, normally everyone's like, oh, we have to wait for this game to end. But no, everyone can tune in and watch this too. Like, it's funny because I can track the viewership for every channel, and it like floods to the to the Game 5 channel when it's going on. So yeah, Z-tier play is going to be moving on. They're going to be facing My Little Henlo. As you can see here on the bracket, Prickly Pear then is going to be facing Glub Glub. That is going to be quite a matchup as well. So again, for the next round, we still have our 4 streams. There's going to be 2 from the winners bracket, 2 from the losers bracket. Again, double elimination tournament, all best of 5. So unfortunately, after this round, there's going to be 2 teams that we will be saying goodbye to, Keon.
Yeah, and always the rough patch to be, especially if you're in that double elimination side here, as we do get our first look at the map matchups here. So on the loser's side, this was the I'm always gonna pronounce this name wrong. I'm gonna repeat myself for the 40th time here, Falco. The Octoputties, or that's how you pronounce that team. Tri-Shoals team, I'm just gonna say. Yeah, it's Octopus, exactly. And the No Boys Allow groups. That is basically the Booyah Bay group versus Tri-Shoals coming up here soon. And then we also have the Siku got kicked out versus C Bubble H-Town representatives versus Seattle's representatives happening right now. Which, by the way, speaking of that matchup, I think that is currently in progress, if I'm not mistaken, there as well, Falco. So
yeah.
They're already kicking off their next matchups.
That one just kicked off. They were waiting. They kind of knew where they were going to go. So they were like, hey, we're just going to run with it. We're going to get going. So yes, this is the losers bracket here for Siku got kicked out in C Bubble, as I can't really tell who's holding the zone quite yet on the side. But, you know, it seems to be a pretty dominant push there. I think is that Siku who's holding it? Siku's holding the zone. Okay, Ziku's really doing such a good job so far, as I think okay, they're finally getting a few players down, but we'll see. C-Bubble's finally able to cap their Nido. So I mean, this is where magic needs to happen.
Magic needs to happen for both of these teams. Siku got kicked out, getting swept out of there by their Arizona counterparts, no less. Another rivalry I want to keep an eye on later on if we see H-Town move on. Right now, the story is C-Bubble yet again, the team from the Puget Sound getting the opening push, but it's going to be the team from the Space City rather getting another push here. See if they can hold out long enough. Nope, as a wipeout there, that is enough for C-Bubble to say, you know what, we're going to go and take all this back. Thanks for leaving the zone warmed up for us. We'll take it from here.
Yeah, and we'll see how long they can hold on to that. Again, now it is a close match here, as Siku got kicked out, still holding on pretty strong right now, avoiding some of those. Suga's Woomph is going to be doing that. But, oh no, I'm sorry, Woomph from Siku got kicked out. So very strong push from them as well. As we get rid of our penalty points too, so we will see. Oh no, it's not going to be quite enough there, as Tormy's able to avoid it, avoid getting splatted. It's going to be taking on Mar. Man, it's so frustrating when you get splatted on ledges like that, like from a blast. Well, especially from a brush or a paintbrush Keone, but Tormy's really doing such a good job.
You know, Tormy is just sitting out here with that paintbrush, and you have the splash wall in front. I feel like that feels so demoralizing because as a player, you're probably just sitting behind that splash wall. I am safe. Don't you worry. No, it did not happen because Tormy has what it is.
How did that hit me? Is always the question.
Right? How did that hit you there? Actually, a nice little lead change on top of it. So here's the other thing here too, Falco, with Mahi zones being the first map, and all the other teams that will be playing on round 2 will eventually get to notice this. So you notice that the map does expand. Anybody who's played this knows the map expands that past 60 points remain. H-Town, I think, got it down to 49, and if you're not able to assert control for a long time, that's where you get into a lot of trouble. Which thankfully Siku got kicked out, understood. We got to win a lot of these fights, so I'm gonna be curious to see how this plays out.
That's right. Again, it started off a little bit lopsided. Look at that. 3 are going to be going down there. That was a really strong push there. And that's a really good pick too, as Ivy. So Ivy, I believe, is this player. With 3 players going to be down, as C-Battle trying to take control of the zone. They do. Okay. With 42 penalty points on the side of Siku got kicked out. Again, a lot of back and forth, and these teams, they hold the zone for quite some time, except for now they, lost it after like 4 seconds. But their lockouts are very strong. But I feel like as you approach later on into the game, you might panic a little more. You might have a little more gutsy plays where there's going to be a lot more flip-flopping.
That's exactly that's kind of what we figure here throughout. And the more this game progresses here, I was about to know if it even gets to that point, because yeah, they get to the 3 down, and now C-Battle has a chance to cap, which they're able to. So I mean, Nito, for C-Bubble's end in this situation, I mean, what would be your ultimate goal, especially if you have a comp that has the heavy edit, the carbon roller, the decav, and that's a red pencil, I just realized.
Yeah, and I love seeing it. But if you are a soccer fan, you know exactly what I mean when I say you're gonna have to park the bus right now. You have 30 seconds to go. You are this close to inking out your first win. Siku got kicked out, has this snowballing effect that if you don't keep track of it, you're going to lose this lead. But they're covering it so well. I mean, look at how well they've been able to cover their players. Only Tormy left for Siku got kicked out.
Wow.
All they have to do is paint his own. But look at that incredible coverage from C-Bubble, getting them the first win here.
Yeah, and that was that victory. And I saw pencil, and my brain immediately autopilot that to the cooler. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out the last time I even had to call a red pencil ever in my life. There, Nito. I mean, you and I will be like, wait, what is that doing there? But I was gonna know, it's like we kind of saw that really cool back and forth between C Bubble and H Town overall. So that was really fun to see. And obviously, they're gonna have to load up for this game too. In all games, by the way, for those who are just tuning in on our main side, if I'm not mistaken, we're still waiting for the next matchups to go. So we got some time here to see how this matchups play out. And Falco, anything that kind of intrigues you at all with either regional match with any of the matchups that you see right away, or you just be curious about to see which matchups close?
You know, initially from round 1, we had one upset on paper. Of course, that was Z-tier players over No Boys Allowed. I don't want to say I'm surprised by that. I would say I'm more surprised that My Little Henlo did not 3-0 Octoputties, especially from what we saw. That's going to be game 2 that I want to go back and watch the VOD to really see what happened, to get a better look, to listen to our lovely commentators, to kind of get their take on it as well. So, the 3-0 from, I believe, Prickly Pear versus Siku got kicked out. I'm a little surprised by that, I think. Again, that's a 2 seed versus a 7 seed, but at this point, I feel like the seeds are all very close to each other. Again, I'm just very glad we saw Game 5 here in our round 1. You know, I don't think No Boys Allowed was very very happy about that, but again, they're going to be facing Octoputties now as they are getting ready for their game 2. So yeah, we're still kind of waiting for them to join up. Prickly Pear versus Glub Glub, I think that's going to be another big one that we want to focus on. Again, the thing is, like, there's not a match that we're like, we don't care about that one. Like, we care about all of them. So
yeah, of course we do.
All of them are going to be very important. So it's going to be a lot of fun too. Nito, any surprises there from that game we just saw? C Bubbles versus Siku got kicked out.
Not as much so far. I do like the fact that Tormy is using that brush as, like you mentioned, the same way I would use a blaster or a slosher. I like that Tormy realizes how much coverage she can have with that weapon. So it's incredible seeing something that looks unorthodox just on your screen. They're being used for something that it's totally more than capable of, and especially on Mahi zones, it is probably the best map to try that on.
All right, we're taking a look at 2 games that are getting situated. Game 2, C Bubble versus Siku got kicked out, getting loaded up. My Little Henlo versus Z-tier players about to start as well. So I'm going to be very curious to see how Game 1 goes. For that winner semis, of course, you can watch that game on SplatoonTourney 2. SplatoonTourney 3 hosting C Bubble versus Siku got kicked out after C Bubble got that first win. But look at this breakaway.
What?
Oh, Keon, look at that. A very early start there. I think from Siku, if I'm not mistaken.
Siku, I think.
Yeah. Okay, from Siku. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, I feel like anybody will have to ask the question of when was the last time you've had to see a 30-second checkpoint clearing Crab Lake Rainmaker? Feels like it's been a while for the most part, but I feel like it also encapsulates like Siku got kicked out as a whole.
Another one.
But okay, so we're just gonna write all the checkpoints off in an email. It's just now both teams are realizing maybe we'd want to go back to Splatoon 2 at the end of the day. So that was a pretty cool breakaway though. All things Siku got kicked out overall. As we go over to Splatoon 32 because there's also the game this match that is playing out here, and it's and welcome to Mommy Ruined Zones for this one, and that's New England versus Gatorland, which is basically My Little Henlo and Z-tier players. What we're seeing right now.
Yeah, the battle of the East Coasts going on right here. You have Atlantic North versus Atlantic South, as these 2 teams are going at it with a soft early lead there from Z-tier players, but now My Little Henlo's in a much better position. We have our 3rd game getting started too. Prickly Pear versus Glub Glub. They're going to be starting on game 1 here. Again, Zones Umami as they get situated too. So a lot of action still progressing here. as we get our day as we get round 2 started here, waiting on our day's been started. Our day's been long started.
You know what's funny, Falco? You know what's funny, Falco? I felt like that sounded like you mentioned the NFL red zone vibes. I almost felt like you wanted to say like the 7 hours of
7 hours.
7 hours there. And
7 hours of commercial-free Splatoon.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I mean, essentially that's what it is.
I mean,
hopefully not 7 hours.
You have like the 3 games that are all playing out right now. Which, by the way, Splatoon 32 is about to go final here in just a few quick moments because it's My Little Helmet that will get the cap to wrap up game 1. So that game enters into the intermission. Going over to I believe Splatoon 21. Actually, I think we're gonna have another game that's about to boot up. Nope, I lied. It is just the Splatoon 21 and Splatoon 23 that will have games available. But that was a great start, by the way, for Gatorland to start right away. We're back here in this double setup. We joined in on the wipeout that happened in progress in Splatoon 23. I think that was Siku got kicked out that got the wipeout as well.
Yeah, it was. And right now, okay.
Or wait, the receiving end of the wipeout. Sorry.
Yeah, well, and also I'm looking at Splatoon 21, Sunset Surge finally getting that cap. Glub got it all the way down to 36, having 49 penalties points left. So this will be Prickly Pear's first opportunity at a lockout. About a little over a minute in, so we will see how well they can hold on to this. As the bucket's going to go down, the heavy edit's going to go down too. But we see Nolan's Kraken come out. Can they try and contest? Probably not much, since they don't have much support from teammates. Not all their players are alive. Nito, a very tricky position to be in if you're the Big Dapple team, as you're going to lose the lead right now.
Yeah, and especially with what Prickly Pear, or at least what we've seen from their gameplay, comp-wise and strategy-wise, they know how to. They already have double Zuka, so if you want to try something globally, what Prickly Pear is saying is, go ahead and try it. Go ahead and try me. Let's see what happens. And you know the famous phrase. Well, guess what? Glub seems to have found out. Prickly Pear gets game 1. It's very hard to play against a team like Prickly Pear, especially with how much they can poke at you from afar. That double Zuka comp they have is no joke.
No, it's really hard, especially when they use those specials in tandem. Of course, we see their matching emotes there. Let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 3, where Sea Bubbles facing Siku got kicked out. 40 seconds remaining right now as Woomph from H-Town going to be trying to push and take the lead here. They need to get down to 14, but they have 2 players down. They are just going to have 1 player. Guapa is going to be there to support them. Tormy is going to be jumping back in as well. Can Woomph make the jump? No, that's going to be a huge setback for them, unfortunately, as they're running out of time. And here comes a roller. That's going to be the wipeout. That is likely going to seal the deal in Sea Bubble in a much better position now, as they are going to be getting, presumably, this win here on game 2, going up 2-0.
Yeah, that's a 2-0 victory right away. As we go on to 2-0. We got ourselves SplatoonTourney 2 right away between My Little Henlo and Z tier players. That's where My Little Henlo actually took home that game 1 that we saw in Mumabi Ruined Zone. So over to this matchup right away here. And Nito, Nito, I see Sploosh, and immediately I think of like a few players that are just Sploosh maniacs, to say the least, showing up on Gatorland's end. So anything that kind of strikes out to you while this game 2 is going here, Nito? If
right,
Nito's
well,
there.
Nito,
maybe not. Well,
excuse me, that's fine. I see a Sploosh.
Morning.
I think that's the big thing. That's really catching my eye. Who is using that Sploosh? Is that?
That's going to be Choppa from My Little Henlo, and I am back.
Okay.
We got you.
Nito, give us your 2 cents here.
I love the Sploosh pick. It used to be at some point that it was a meme pick, but now, no. I think it is very much getting lots of attention in a serious manner in competitive Splatoon. That combined with the Zipcaster we see from from Z tier players is going to be interesting to note. I want to see that paired up with the crab that Neptune has been known to use here, but when you have a flop around like this, sorry, it's actually Gatorland that gets their first dibs at the tower. And that's going to be this pencil that, if you look at it, kinda, it's going to be with the basket barely stays open. Wow, okay, My Little Henlo. Another match to look forward to there. As we have 3 other matches we could be looking forward to here.
Yeah, 2 matches now starting at the same times. That's Prickly Pear and Glub on SplatoonTourney 1. And then on SplatoonTourney 4, No Boys Allowed versus Octoputties going on as well. So we will see how this starts. Again, game 1 for No Boys Allowed versus Octoputties as they are getting situated here. We'll see who takes that first cap and the first early lead. As we see early Clam Blitz matches, Keone, just kind of a stalemate. Nobody's going to get that super early push, especially on a map like Inkblot.
Yeah, Inkblot Clam Blitz, especially in anyone who has to deal with this map, is like, okay, how do you get to the ramp and take this one up front? And basically what we're seeing between Splatoon 21 and Splatoon 22, the winner semifinals matchup, they're gonna have to solve this riddle as soon as possible. Obviously, one has already solved it there. My Little Henlo on that side, and then you got the folks representing Sunset Surge and Big Dapple on that group. They're having to figure out the exact same method. I do see from right away from our feed, one side, that's the Glub that has the excuse me, the Slosher and the Heavy Headed, so they have a lot of aggression. They also have, I believe that's Nolan, of course, no surprise, Nolan on the 96 scale Deco as well. And then the Sunset Surge group here, Prickly Pear, they got basically their decap, they got the Heavy Headed, they got the Zuka as well, the Vanilla Shot, Falcons. They got a combination of specials to work through in order to break through the first push, but minutes have to go for that particular matchup. They haven't gotten points until now. But Splatoon 22 has already gotten points off the board.
Yeah, actually, I wanted to bring that up because while that was happening, Keone, that was Z-tier players who had a 1 push from 100 to 22. So Z-tier players now in the lead. They had 3 power clams help push them to that point. So we're going to focus on that game for now. Again, My Little Henlo's in a little bit of a deficit of map control and of points, but Henlo doing Henlo things, getting a double with the stamp, getting some of those picks, going to be pushing up towards his basket. And are they going to be in a good position to try and push forward? No, they're going to be seen. So we'll see how this ends up. A minute 30 remaining in this game. We'll see if they can get that push in. As we look into the other game going now, No Boys Allowed versus Octoputties here. This is going to be No Boys Allowed, I think, who has the zone and getting the win?
Yes.
Question mark? Yes. Excuse me. They're going to be getting that win, winning game 1 here. Let's take a look over on SplatoonTourney 1 as Prickly Pear and Glub now as are facing off here. That is going to be another lead change. Not much of a lead change there, but Sunset Surge, Prickly Pear getting down to 77 versus 80. This is a very close game, Nito.
Yeah, and I like this. I always like bringing this up because it's a good place to start when it comes to history. The names on Big Dapple are very different from people who probably recognize the names on Prickly Pear. I like to call this the past versus the present and the future. It's an analogy you're gonna hear me say a lot of times, and it's working out very well to where the present and the future are not too far apart. I mean, we're still just one normal clam separated from these two teams.
All right,
yeah,
Keone, give us your 2 cents.
Yeah, quick 2 cents there, because I was actually about to jump in on a different matchup there, because that My Little Henlo matchup, basically, when final in that game 2, you saw the lead change kind of playing out, and that led to the immediate knockout. So that was basically the only hope that Z tier players had to basically be on the board. So now we going over to that Prickly Pear matchup, Glub matchup, where Prickly Pear is able to get that one through to the 39 points remain. This is going to be a little bit intriguing to see how that all plays out, especially with Prickly Pear getting the initial lead to start with about a minute 3 to go.
Indeed. So 2 games going on right now. You guys can see here that C Bubble up 2-0 versus Siku got kicked out, and they that is going to be okay. That's actually H-Town. Siku got kicked out. Who has the tower now and is pushing again? They are down 0-2. Look at this lockout. A nice push there on Ivy as Woomph is going to be on the tower uncontested. This might be a 1-push KO for H-Town's team, and it absolutely is with the support of the bubble. So quickly on the board, Nito, your home state, they've got a point.
There we go. Love to see it. And one thing I'd like to mention there too, Guwapa, that push up with the junior, that was very gutsy. You don't see that from juniors, especially because those weapons aren't necessarily the best for taking 1v1 fights. But as we move on towards Splatoon 1, Prickly Pear and Glub, 2 teams that are not afraid of taking fights. Here's Prickly Pear, already 1 shot all the way to the side. That's Pepe for Prickly Pear. They know Glove Glove's going to have to make a lot of moves here in order to get themselves close to the checkpoint with the decap looking straight away. Maybe it's not too difficult. After all, Glove is looking very close here. Nilla's staring straight down to that basket. Does get one in. 2 players down, though, for Glove. Glove's still looking for a few more. They've got more picks on the board. Nolan's holding some jumps in for Prickly Pear. Glove still holding it down. They've still got players up there, too. No power clamps to follow it up with, though. They do get one in. Is it enough to keep it going? Keep overtime going? No, it is not. Prickly Pear, a stunning showing here, winners semifinals.
Prickly Pear up 2-0 over Glub on Splatoon Tourney 4. No Boys Allowed versus Octoputty is now going on to Game 2, as it is going to be Bouillabaisse, No Boys Allowed, who are going to be getting this first checkpoint. I think, no, I am incorrect. That is Octoputty's who is going to be getting it. With the early dunk here on everybody's favorite map and mode, Crab Lake Capital Rainmaker Keone. So they're going to be trying to extend this push. My Little Henlo versus Z tier players now kicking off once again on Splatoon Tourney 2. Again, My Little Henlo up 2-0 over Z tier players as they go to Game 3.
My eyes are kind of glued to this matchup between Octoputties and No Boys Allowed right now, because I'm seeing this push start to materialize right away for Octoputties. They might actually try to slam that one home. They don't do that quite yet. And the power of Crab Lake Capital, especially with that first checkpoint being cleared, always going to be intriguing one to watch. Actually, are they even able to get the slam home right away? It doesn't look like they're there quite yet. They're still pretty much invading the base there for No Boys Allowed, and it looks like that might get stalled. So that ends the focus on that. And also looking at Splatoon Tourney 2, kind of a neutral, where you see My Little Henlo and Z tier players kind of battling, kind of see the same neutral game that is playing. What? Did I see that ultra stamp toss on the other side?
Oh, there's a quad. There it is.
Oh, we saw it.
That's a quad. Okay,
Helix.
I'm glad we caught that, Falco.
Helix doing Helix things. Can they get that checkpoint? Yes, they can. Much needed, because again, they are down as Chaishol's Octoputties got that first checkpoint initially early on. Is it going to be enough for them to take the lead? Yes, it is, barely before going down. So they needed that to try and get this win. Octoputties now have a 3-player advantage. We'll see how they come back to it, but let's go back to Splatoon Tourney 2 right now to see Gatorland versus New England, as they're trying to push as Z-tier players on the tower right now, approaching this first checkpoint. And Nito, this might be enough for them to take the lead.
It will, and it's interesting to note that this is the one team. This is the one set where you look at the score and it just doesn't tell that entire story. I mean, this is My Little Henlo. We're talking about a #1 seeded team going up against C-tier players, maybe still highly skilled, maybe not something you consider off the bat to be at the same level as My Little Henlo. But I mean, look at this. If there is any doubt, maybe there's no doubt right now, as New England able to get through to the second checkpoint here. Good stuff here from Z-tier players using that. Again, I love the way they use their specials, and I love the way they position them, because they're always helping each other out. You have to keep helping each other out, having an understanding of how those specials can coordinate with one another and how they can play to each other's strengths is huge. And I love that I'm seeing more of it from Z-tier players.
And all 4 games finally in progress at the same time. Once again, from the very start of the tournament. We love to see it. We know you guys can't read or see anything on the maps. We just like to show this scene that it actually exists. Let's focus on the game that is closest to ending. I believe that's Splatoon Tourney 4, with about 1:30 remaining on the clock there for No Boys Allowed and Octoputties. Again, this is a 1-point game here, with the Rainmaker near mid. So Octoputties in the driver. No, they're not in the driver's seat. They are the ones who are down right now. And they don't have the Rainmaker, so a lot that they need to overcome here in this last minute. They're going to want to try and coordinate some of these specials wisely and push them as well. Let's take a look at Splatoon Tourney 2, as it looks like My Little Henlo's in near knockout position. Can they do it? Getting to 11? No, not quite enough yet. Neptune's trying to take some of the players down, not able to do so. Let's take a look at the 2 games who are going to be ending most closest, Keone, and focusing on No Boys Allowed versus Octoputties. This is going to be a lot for Octoputties to try and take over.
A lot of things to keep an eye on if you're on Octoputty side. If you're looking at that matchup between Octoputties and No Boys Allowed, is how do they get this push started right away? It looks like they do have some weapons that they could try to leverage, but they are going to get snuffed out. So No Boys Allowed looking for that defensive hold on that side of that Rainmaker there. So then wondering to see how this all works out. I think they're getting completely stalled out right now, especially with the 3 members that have drops. That looks like that is going to be the done deal here for Noboys. They should be on the way to getting the second game home if they're able to protect that one, which, yeah, all the players respawning, that should likely be it there for that particular matchup, Falco.
Yeah, so, okay, No Boys Allowed going to get the win here for, for game 2. Octoputty's going to be getting that one. So that one's going to be ending soon. Let's take a look at Splatoon 1, Prickly Pear versus Glub Glub. As right now, Prickly Pear, I think, is in a better position now with the tower, with some of the player advantages as well. As Glub Glub is trying to overcome this hill. Again, Prickly Pear is up 2-0. They have control of the tower, and they've gotten past 1 checkpoint, approaching the 2nd checkpoint. Not going to be quite enough here. And we're going to take a look at the 2 games here. Nito, SplatoonTourney 2, SplatoonTourney 3. The one nearest the ending here is My Little Henlo versus Z-tier players. Take us away for these next 10 seconds.
10 seconds left on the clock for both of these teams. Z-tier players need to get 1 person on the tower, and they do. Well, how long will they have it on for? Remember, the number 1 rule of overtime is to keep 1 person on the tower. Can they keep 1 person on the tower for the time being? The answer is yes. It's going to be very difficult. Look at how much power Henlo has. It's enough power to get them to win. They will be moving on to winners finals. Good stuff here from the team with the highest seed. Some expected, but some still very satisfying to watch as I look over at SplatoonTourney 3. Z-Bubble and Siku got kicked out. A duel to the death here in the middle, apparently, as we see down on each side. That is going to be a delayed wipeout for Z-Bubble, who got kicked out. Now no responses here. They're not in the lead here. Z-Bubble still keeping things going as we switch over to Splatoon 1, and that is a done deal, I believe, for Prickly Pear, as they will take Glub Glub out in a sweep. And interestingly enough, don't mean to spend more time on the mic, but interestingly enough, Prickly Pear is the only team to have not dropped a game.
All right, and finally on Splatoon 3, the 1 game going on now, 40 seconds remaining here. We're going to see Woomp from Siku trying to push towards a basket. No, going to get denied. 1v1 situation, 30 seconds left, Keone. Siku, they need to get this win if they want to push it to Game 5.
They will need to get this win if they want to push it to a Game 5. They're actually pretty close to being equipped for it. They just need to win out a few fights against a very zany comp, which they actually might be able to. And with 8, and right now, Siku got kicked out. Guapa and the crew, they will at least force that overtime push. So far, about that 10 seconds left marker, but they are going to get completely jump scared, I believe, by the carbon roller deck over about a few moments. Actually, are they actually able to find that entrance here soon? Especially not with the hammer from the heavens not quite landing at all on that side. Bubble is going to be deployed. Are they going to get this push? And yes, they will from the side. Ooh. They're going to need the clam. They might have the clams. They just need to find the 2 people to throw them in. Tormy is keeping this one alive for a little bit longer. They need 3 more, but that is it. Or Siku got kicked out. That the story is going to basically end for the H-Town Splashdown representatives there with Z-Bubble advancing.
Yeah, so Siku got kicked out. Well, they're getting kicked out. I don't want to say they're getting kicked out of this tournament. That sounds like way too bad. They played so well. And they played so strong. And again, they won their tournament. And of all the tournaments, it had the largest number of participants playing. So that's got to be a reward on its own. Let's take a quick look at the bracket now. As we see on Splatoon 4 here, No Boys Allowed versus Octoputties here, resuming here as I believe. Yeah, okay, so that's going to be Octoputties on the tower with the lead right now. So we'll see how long they can push this. After this push, we can go to the bracket to show some of the updated standings. But let's see how long they can cook, because they need to get this going if they want to get a win. They are down 2-0 Nito, but right now with the specials and all the map control, they seem to be in a much better position.
It's scary though. There's 2 players with No Boys Allowed on the tower. Only 1 on the tower for Octoputties, and they've got that 1 player down. Another 1 on the tower. How long does it last? Not very long though. It's going to be a close affair, as we've seen from the past from Octoputties as we look at the bracket here. My Little Henlo and Prickly Pear. Again, Prickly Pear, the only team not dropping a set against My Little Henlo. The only team to drop 1 game here. It's going to be a head wallop of a matchup there.
Yeah, it's that winners finals. Again, the way the bracket's structured, which, by the way, if you want to watch the set that's going on right now, Splatoon 4, you can turn that on. I'm sure we'll do live looking soon. But the winners finals is not going to be next. It is going to be after the next round, just so we can always make sure that we have 2 games going on at the same time for as long as we possibly can without delaying the bracket as a whole. So they're going to be, they earned themselves a water break, a snack break, whatever kind of break that they need and want. So they'll be doing that. But right now, No Boys Allowed trying to get their push. 2 are going to go down. At this first checkpoint, Octoputty's got all the way down to 28, so very strong push. Now, Keon, this map and mode in particular can snowball very easily. So we will see if that benefits No Boys Allowed or if Octoputty's is going to be stopping them at this next checkpoint.
Well, the other problem too, as you also know with this snowballing, is you got to get your members alive. More importantly, and everything else, because the special is gonna land perfectly there. I thought that Ultra Sand was actually gonna land as well. This might be a clutch jump there that prevents this one. The lead doesn't even change. That was okay. That was incredibly clutch, because No Boys Allowed was probably a few seconds away from swiping lead. Now, of course, you have about 2 minutes and 25 seconds left. There's a lot of game left here, Falco. So this could sit. So this still could be an opportunity for No Boys Allowed. But I mean, yeah, that I was thinking that snowball was gonna cause a lead change, but it didn't quite make it there.
Indeed, 2 minutes remaining. But yeah, this is a neck and neck match right now. You can't really get any closer than this. And this is where it's really hard when you're a team like Octoputty's, where you can't afford to lose anything. And then just like that, you have 3 of your members go down. And I don't know, this has to be where No Boys Allowed takes the lead, Nito, because they really need to get this lead as members of Octoputty's are going to be respawning. You just got to use all your specials right here.
It's still scary, and they haven't done it. They're still another point behind. And it was this close to getting that tower on a checkpoint too. That is rough for No Boys Allowed, especially a team that has looked like they were going to cruise past this set, but they haven't cruised past it so far. 1:25 to go. It is close. It is neck and neck. This is what I love to see. Octoputty's bringing the fight to No Boys Allowed, and they continue to hold the lead for now. Their double Tetra comp has been most noteworthy. The most noteworthy comp is this set, or at least the most consistent comp we've seen in this set so far.
Let's see, just about a minute left here. Oh man, there's so much orange paint on the ground too, so I think that's going to be just such a huge obstacle. Well, I mean, it's going to benefit Octoputty's here, but it's going to be something that they need to capitalize on. And of course, their comp is a comp that, unlike any that we have seen before, really, obviously in this tournament, you have 2 Tetras, you have a Bamboo. This is something they put in their bio, so they run with this, and everybody who knows them knows that they play these weapons pretty much one tricks. And I mean, the tricky part about Tetras is people don't generally face them anyways. So it's hard to figure out the best way to counter it when you don't encounter it yourself, and especially when you're facing 2 of them. Keon, it's really tricky, but 10 seconds left. They don't seem to have a solid hold. 2 down. This might be the push, Keon. Yeah,
I was gonna say maybe this might be their chance. Maybe this is gonna be it there for Octoputty's, and they could extend the set a little bit longer. Actually, they 100% are going to extend that set for just as long, and this will get this losers round a little extended here. And if I'm not mistaken, Falco, I think you mentioned we're still gonna wait for, I think, this set to wrap up, if I heard that correctly. So that is actually Octoputty's basically staying alive here. And hey, we got more Splatoon action happening on Splatoon 4 more there.
Yeah, we're gonna try. Okay, so taking updated look at the bracket here as we move on to our next game. So like we mentioned, My Little Henlo Prickly Pear moving on to the winners finals there. Z tier players, C Bubble is gonna be facing off, and again, just waiting on the winners between No Boys Allowed and Octoputty's here. So if No Boys Allowed, if they get the win. Trying to look at the bracket. Okay. No, they wouldn't have been facing a team that they already faced. Okay. Just the way the bracket's structured. So, but a good win. Let's take a look at the replays. Can we? Okay. Still a little soon.
Nah, it's having its day.
It's having its day. No. That's okay though.
Of course, it's on Stoppa, the only player that has a name appropriate for what these replays are currently doing. Stopping.
This is kind of one of the cooler things we wanted to see, was see all the big highlights that are here, and we may have to give ourselves some time to get ourselves back in front of it too. So so a little unfortunate, but hey, sometimes that's how it goes during times. So I mean, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Falco Neo, this is the match happening in Splatoon 24 is the only active set I think that's currently in progress right now, and that one was the one we just saw, the 2-1 lead for No Boys Allowed. So again, I'm really excited to see how that set continues to progress. I thought No Boys Allowed had a decent stranglehold in that ship-shape cargo code tower control with the way that's all playing.
Yeah, taking a look here at the matches remaining. Like we said, we only have the one here on SplatoonTourney 4 between No Boys Allowed and Octoputties here. So coming up next on SplatoonTourney 1 and 2 will be the losers bracket side of things. So whoever wins this match between Chai Shoals will be playing. So what you see here is technically incorrect right now, but we have to just wait to put it. You know, we have to wait for this match to end before we broadcast it. So let's hop back into here for Game 4. Again, Octoputties getting that much needed win there. Any comp changes off the top of our heads? I don't really think so. Did No Boys Allowed, did they play Glugas before? I think they did. I think Nico did.
They may have, actually. So I'm excited to see. So here's what I was wondering too: is Octoputties actually? So this is one I had to figure out was if they were running double Tetras the entire way through, and it looked like they sure as heck did there. So I'm gonna be excited to see how that all plays out. It's both variations too. You got the one with the Reef Slider and the Zipcaster. They got a bunch of skirmishing weapons that they have at the ready there. That Ultra Sand, of course, being stamped out as well. And again, if you guys do want to tune in with the commentators that are calling this matchup, it is on Splatoon 24. We just give you guys what we see right here.
Yeah, you'll get a much better, like authentic commentary, and instead of our analysis couch style where we show all our fancy brackets and stuff too. But yeah, so if you want to take a closer look, that's the stream to do it. Again, on the mic for that one, you have Rocket and Rose, who are kicking it off. Actually, both of them did go to a LAN, which is really cool. Rocket went to H-Town. Rose went to Big Dapple. And Rose is the only person of our commentary crew who, in round 1, commentated a team where that team won the LAN. So that's really cool. Everyone else was just like mixed in with wherever. So you know, good for Rose. I know she was very excited. I was talking to her a little bit before this. She was really excited. She was able to commentate glove. But yeah, a lot of back and forth here, which I honestly feel like, Nito, the back and forth like this, okay, is really going to benefit Octoputties, because the longer this match goes when it's tied, I think is going to benefit them.
Right. This is a team that has kept it fairly close against No Boys Allowed. Every set, every match so far. In fact, this is a team that kept it close against My Little Henlo. They did take one game off My Little Henlo, making them the first team to drop, really one of the top seeds to drop a set, the first seed to drop a set. So Octoputties likes it when they can keep it close, likes it when they can bring it to overtime, because they know they do very well in these high pressure situations. And they're probably going to see one very soon here as No Boys Allowed gets their first dibs on the basket. Both of these teams had yet to score, but it's going to be No Boys Allowed making their first move.
Yeah, that is, 2 minutes, almost 30 seconds in. Sometimes unusual, sometimes not. It just really depends on kind of the pace of the game. And again, with only one follow-up of a power clam, that I think is going to help Octoputties. As look at this, Helix really trying to just shark their way forward. They are in a position to maybe get a trip. No, okay, they're spotted. Oh, and they were alone too. Okay, I mean, let's see how well they can do in this 1v4 situation. Taking down 1, taking down 2, taking down. Can they take down Ellie? Taking down 3.
Hey.
Oh, but the barrier opened. Okay, the one player made a break for it. So that was really interesting. I enjoyed watching it though.
You know, the entire way through, I was like, okay, that was a slick quad by Helix. It kind of also, unfortunately, led to Octoputties getting the push there too. But we gotta give them props for the highlight. And again, same deal. We'd love to hear what you mentioned, Rose and Rocket on the mic, noticing how all that played out. So yeah, this is gonna be really intriguing to see how this plays out. Obviously, the score being 60 points to 80 points remaining here for either team, and then for Octoputties, they still got a lot of room to maneuver there, from what we notice.
They do. And again, this game is so close, but a lot of paint here from the side of Octoputties too. The basket's going to be broken once again, but 2 are going to go down. So, oh, I'm sorry, from the side of No Boys Allowed. So they are in a better position right now, but I don't know, Nito. What's your take?
My take is another sports reference. I don't know, Jim. It looks pretty close between both of these teams, and it seems like No Boys Allowed is extending their lead here. Thanks, Tony Romo. Love it when I point out the obvious in your reference, in your honor. But so far, Booyah Bay and Chai Shoals are representatives still keeping it close together. Remember, Octoputties has been doing fairly well so far, but they are down in match point against No Boys Allowed. No Boys Allowed does very well with this stamp coming out from the mini spotlight, but nothing there yet. 20 seconds to go. It's still a trade-off. It's been a trade-off in mid here this whole time, and we're still seeing it happen here. But it's more critical now for Octoputties because they do need to make this move. They have the power climb, so this will likely go into overtime. 5 seconds to go. It's going to be a close one, Falco. I don't know if we're gonna see one as much as I keep talking.
Yeah, let's take a look. Here's the jump. Can the clam go in? Oh no, and it's okay. They did, but there's nobody there to follow up. The junior is still alive, and now they're going to be going down. So that's going to seal the deal there. So that is going to be Booyah Bay's No Boys Allowed moving on, knocking out Octoputties here in losers round 1. So unfortunately, we're going to say goodbye to our 7th and 8th seed here in the losers bracket. No Boys Allowed going to be moving up. Let's take a look here at the bracket. Updated bracket moving on to what we have the latest. No Boys Allowed. They're going to be moving on to face Glub Glub. Z tier players and C Bubble. That is also going to be happening. Both of those matches going to be happening on SplatoonTourney 1 and SplatoonTourney 2. My Little Henlo and Prickly Pear, they're in the winners finals. They get a little bit of a breather. They're going to be waiting just a little bit as we are going to be moving on to 2 concurrent streams. So we will be saying goodbye to our SplatoonTourney 3 and SplatoonTourney 4 broadcast, as they're going to be ending, focusing on 2 at a time now. So it's been a lot of fun so far. Keon, Nito, we've sat through 2 sets, a lot of close games, a lot of action, a lot of talking. You can hear it in my voice.
Yep.
This definitely has nothing to do with the fact that my allergies are kicking my butt and have been for 3 days. And I've been taking cough drops and Dayquil and NyQuil for like 72 hours straight. And I assume at the end of the night, my throat is going to be killing me. But hey, it's all worth it because we've been waiting 8 months for this day. Keon and Nito, SplatoonTourney 2, losers round 2 kicking off. Keon, New Inkling Sea Battle. Let's head to that one right now as we take a look here and see how this one is going to be starting off. Give us your rundown.
Yeah, so quick rundown here of the stuff you see. The red pencil always showing up when it matters here. I think if I'm not mistaken here, Nito, from the close look at the weapons that we're seeing right away, I feel like that fundamentally the C Bubble kept the same comp. And Z tier players, I think, running very similar weapon styles. Anywho, from the matchups we have seen of Z tier players, so this is gonna be an interesting set to start because, as Falco noted, these are both loser bracket matchups. So winners finals will just get a quick little breather to just move around a little bit and see how this plays. And Nito, anything that kind of strikes out to you while Z tier players are starting off strong?
First of all, the red pencil. I've never seen a red pencil before in my life. What are you doing here? Anyway, C Bubble is going to look at this. You're looking to take this zone, and they do, but interestingly enough, it's not convincing. It actually goes back into a neutral position not too far afterwards. Decaf, nice pick there from the Decaf on the side of C Bubble. And still a few more picks coming out from both teams here. Remember that C Bubble is this one team that hasn't won their respective tournaments. They did not win C Battle. Instead, 3/4 of the winning team were on Prickly Pear, so they essentially gave up this position to move on, or to keep it as Prickly Pear. But C Bubble so far proving to be the best so far of the lower seeds at this tournament, as we see C tier players as well struggling. Actually, this is a team that in a few sets ago, Keon, this team didn't struggle as well on Hammerhead. They actually did fairly well here, but with C Bubble, things are a lot different.
Yeah, C Bubble looking really strong so far, and especially when you're able to eliminate a couple of members from what we saw from New Inkling earlier. I was gonna say, Nito, in about a few seconds, this could be the KO.
Oh,
I spoke too soon. I had to speak too soon there, Nito. That was the unfortunate part, and then this gives Z tier players some life right away.
that's our job as commentators.
I know, right? That's usually how it plays. That's usually how it plays out. See, we're both commentators, but we're also looking at the 10,000 foot view a lot of the time. So, yeah, 48 points remain. They're going to be out the penalty points here soon. So, while this matchup is kind of focusing here, we got the 69 points remain. If they're going to throw out the crab into this mix, they should be able to get the zones back here soon, which actually they might be able to. Yes. So, points are going down right here. And Nito, this is now going back to this back and forth we go.
Right, and we're still looking at this back and forth with a minute or half of the game done, half of the game to go. Z-tier players now, look at this position. This is the same positioning we saw under Tower Hagglefish. So this is something they want to hold on to. 49er has his Zipcaster. Lots of damage they can do here. Zipcasters have excellent special on this map. Question is what they will be able to do with it. The answer is not much. This decap now getting another one. As soon as they drop down another one, another pick comes their way. Sea Bubble doing the most here for this retake, and it's working out so well. This decap does go down though, but it's not enough to prevent the retake. Z Bubble, I love how Z Bubble is playing. It almost looks so precise to the point where it's not precise at all. You see specials being popped left and right. This camera operator having to swap around with these players, and we're getting get a peek at this game audio actually as we hear some of it going on for the game.
Yeah, you can see a lot of the game audio here that is playing out, and it looks like it doesn't seem to be quite. Yeah, again, if you want to watch the commentary for this particular matchup, definitely go into SplatoonTourney 2's, and as we do get to see, I think right away, Sea Bubble definitely trying to make the most of what we're seeing right away. It's kind of, I love this back and forth that we're seeing right away so far between both squads. But as soon as I say that, Sea Bubble's gonna be able to take that one home. That will take us through with the 1-0 lead for Sea Bubble. So there'll be some stuff to discuss there for Z tier players coming in. Other matchups still trying to be ironed out. So all matchups currently on the break. So Falco just get you through. Sea Bubble and Co are up 1-0. Nito, anything that kind of struck out to you while we were watching that matchup play?
I mean, it's interesting. I do think that Z-tier players could have been I think C-tier players, what they were doing there is similar to what they were trying earlier. The thing about Sea Bubble, though, is that sort of what I mentioned during that set is that with Sea Bubble, what they were doing is just taking them apart one by one. Usually you see team plays at this level of competitive Splatoon, but it looks like they're so confident in their own mechanics, so confident in how they can take these 1v1s. It's almost just like, on this end is going to be a match between another player and another player. Over the other side of the map is another 1v1. Either way, it seems like Sea Bubble is winning those consistently. That's what's doing them so well here.
Yeah, that's honestly what's doing them really, really well here. As we get to welcome back Falco into the mix. We saw that amazing back and forth matchup that we have going right along. So Sea Bubble going up to that 1-0. They're going to be entering game 2 in just a few quick moments. Other matchup, I think, if I'm not mistaken here, it would be Glove versus No Boys Allowed. That is going to be queued up in Splatoon 1 here in just a few moments. Oh my goodness, it's a coast to coast battle here, Falco. I know.
Yeah. Who are you repping? East Coast or West Coast? You know, we have Seattle taking on Boston, San Jose taking on Brooklyn. I've been to. Okay, I don't know if I've been to Brooklyn. I've been to New York City. I don't know if I've actually been to Brooklyn. I've been to Seattle before. Never been to Boston. Never been to San Jose. But this is what we love. Like, again, we mentioned this earlier in the broadcast, but there's so much camaraderie of supporting your team, supporting your state. There's a lot of watch parties going on right now. I'm in the Chai Shul server. I think there's like 16 of them all in one VC watching and hanging out. I'm not sure if there's any live watch parties that were going on. I don't know if Houston was planning that at all or anything. But let's hop back into here for game 2. Like you guys mentioned before, Sea Bubble's up 1-0 over Z tier players here as we get ourselves situated to get in here. And, you know, again, really not much change in our comps at all that we have seen from any of these players before.
It's actually funny. It's actually funny because this actually may be the one game where I thought where we see major comp changes, and I see the only reason why that got drilled in my head there, Falco, was the red pencil kind of made an appearance, and I'm like, okay, no, they're going to the E leader, and I know a lot of friends who are E leader apologists for the most part, which I'll have to hold on to that thought later here, because Falco, both streams now active because we got games happening on both sides.
We certainly do. In Nito, we have this one kicking off Glub versus No Boys Allowed. This is the 3 versus 4 seed going head-to-head here in the losers round 2 match. This is kind of where they expected to be, kind of where they expected to face each other right now. So this is going to be a very tight matchup.
Yeah, no kidding. This is a great matchup that we're seeing from both of these sides here, and from what we see coming out, from both teams, it looks like it's still going to be a close one match on that one. But if we go over to Splatoon 2, this is looking just slightly less close. However, there's one player going down on each side here. Neptune popping to grab here. This is what worked out so well for C-tier players. This is a much different matchup than what we saw earlier on Zone's Hagglefish. Go over to Tower Control Sturgeon, and we go over to Tower Control Sturgeon, and things are looking far different here. My goodness, Ren, the only one left to back out here, but they have done their damage. AT remaining a tremendous push to begin, rather to get too closer to halfway.
Let's head over to SplatoonTourney 1, where Glub and No Boys Allowed facing off, as we have No Boys Allowed trying to push in, holding on to their zone down to 23. No penalty points quite yet. A 1-player advantage right now. I don't think there's going to be enough time for No Boys Allowed to break in. Just 2 of them are alive. We see Booyah come in to try and counter it, but no, the bubble in the way. So that is a 100-0 knockout in favor of Glub. Let's go over to SplatoonTourney 2. Once again, Z-tier players versus C-Bubbles right as we approach with the knockout. So, okay. Well, really nothing else to show there for that game. And that one was a pretty dominant win there on the side of that was on the side of Z-tier players.
Z-tier.
That was really impressive. These are quick games, Nito. These are fast games to start us off here.
Yeah, no, you talk about quick games. I did not expect. It's almost like that one look in we had before switching over to the next match was it's those subtle foreshadowing memes, because all of a sudden we swap back and it's like, okay, here's another KO. You just came back from a KO. Well, guess what? Here's another one. It's fine. I think it's interesting, though. That's an interesting thing to look at from both sides. Glub and No Boys Allowed. No Boys Allowed is a team that has been struggling so far, especially against C-tier players already. And now they're going up against Glub, a team with so much experience, so much history behind them, and so much synergy that those teams, the names on that Glub roster are almost synonymous with one another. So it's no surprise that we're seeing that from Glub, but Z-tier players and Z-Bubble it's starting to look like the match to watch here.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you had a knockout one way, a knockout the other way, like back to back. You're like, we need time to digest, and for these teams to actually for us to see how well they're going to face each other, Keone. It's so crazy. Let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 1, as this match is going to be underway for Game 2. Glub 1-0 up against No Boys Allowed. We'll see if there's any contest here, because that 100-0 knockout victory for them was pretty impressive, Keone.
That was a really impressive start there for Glub, especially with that 100-0, and kind of might set the stage for Glub to see how they perform so far. And this is a very strong No Boys Allowed squad that we're seeing from Booyah Bay. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see here Falco for No Boys Allowed, if their response is gonna be ready to go with it. But so far might be another slow start right away, and this might be spelling potentially the same script the way Glub's kind of just running.
Yeah, it's exactly what we saw in the first game. Because Booyah Bay, they didn't even score any points. So Glub really just running away with it. Nolan is just such a good player. I mean, obviously, playing for Moonlight, you're a good player. But just the finesse and their mechanics are unmatched, it seems like, as they're just really dominating this Booyah Bay team. Nico's going to be trying to go for that Booyah Bomb from the team of Booyah Bay. Can they get on the tower? No. 3v3, but this is the strikes.
That's
another impressive win there for Glub. Wow. Okay, well, right as this one's ending, we're going to go over to SplatoonTourney 2. They're going to be hopping into Game 3 against Z-tier players versus C-Bubbles, tied 1-1 on this set. they're going to be moving over into Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge, I believe. Clam Blitz Scorch Gorge. As they get themselves situated here. We'll see if this is going to be an early push or one of those stalemates starts, Kyo.
Yeah, so we hop in from one end, and now we go to the other match that's currently in progress, the game 3 now coming up. And this is, so for either team, there's that red pencil again from Sea Bubble's end. They both have dueling pencils, but for either team, now you're in this game 3 in a best of 5 situation. It's almost a very important game 3. If you guys watch your sports and you know how the best of 5s work, it's like you look at game 3 and then statistically it's like, okay, it's gonna be tougher to win the next 2 each go around unless we play our best. And so far, it looks like Sea Bubble's definitely playing their best right now with about that minute left. They get your first initial question. In Scorch Gorge Clan, especially, getting a lot of points on the board definitely is gonna help your cause, especially with how the map is so laid out and the way we have the weapons for ZTR players, especially the Crab and the Cliff Bubble. That's the thing we gotta keep eyes on here. Yeah, Falco, that's a great start for Sea so far.
Yeah, that was a pretty good start there for Z-tier players, for Sea Bubbles, as they're trying to push in. But Z-tier players, they have more control right now, which is good. But it's about how they're going to execute and how they're going to push up from this point. And it's really hard because they're just going to be going down one by one. But we'll see. Storm's going to be getting a nice pick there too. The game on SplatoonTourney 1 is now underway. Game 3, Big Dapples, Glub Glub versus Booyah No Boys Allowed. Let's go to our dual stream as we can kind of see what's going on. And again, Glub Glub has had the dominant pushes in Game 1 and in Game 2, not allowing No Boys Allowed to get any points at all. We're going to see if that's going to be the case here on this Clam Blitz game. Both of these games in Clam Blitz right now. So let's take a moment to take a look at this on the side of SplatoonTourney 1 and on the side of SplatoonTourney 2 at that. The power claim is going to go in. That is going to be on the side of Sea Bubbles, as they already have the lead, trying to extend this lead down to 24. A few more clams at their disposal. Can they get these in? No, but there's going to be a jump. They're probably going to be taken down right as they land, and they do, getting down to 21. That push is going to be over 2 minutes and 30 seconds remaining on that. Over on SplatoonTourney 1, we don't have any scores quite yet, but we do see a crack. I can see a Kraken come out on the side of them as we go into our dual screens right now. Glub Glub trying to make a push here, but nothing is going to be pushing in quite yet for them as they don't have a power claim.
Yeah, and I think, can you hear me, Falco? As my mic decided to explode.
We can.
So you know what's funny there, Falco? You know what's funny there, Falco? I put my mic like 7 feet away from me. That did to put some emphasis, and apparently I thought I was going to come through just fine. But now I'm back. I am no longer muffled anymore. And yeah, I'm actually going to be curious to see how both teams how especially on Glub Glub and No Boys Allowed, how they tackled that particular push, which by the way, first push on the board for Glub Glub, and we saw earlier the two 100-0s here. They're trying to make it their best, but it's always tricky in this Clam Blitz as well to see that 100-0 unless your coordination is literally on point, and maybe Glub Glub could be a candidate for the 3rd straight 100-0 on the board.
Yeah, it's looking like that, as they do have some more clams trying to push in right now. Getting down to 32. Do they have any more? The Gal has one. I don't know if they're going to make it in time. Okay, they are. They're going to be getting that into 26. Oh, and here comes Keen with a few more clams, getting those into 17. You know, this would be really impressive if they get 3 100-0 pushes, and it looks like they do. Oh my goodness. The most dominant set so far happening in Losers Round 2 with Glub Glub getting that 3-0. They're going to be moving on, knocking out No Boys Allowed for the tournament. Moving over to SplatoonTourney 2, we have Sea Bubbles able to get that push. They are holding on to this basket. 13-10. Can they get some more in? And they just need 3 more claims if they want to get this win, and they want to push this to Game 4 with a 2-1 lead. They're going to be in a position to do it. Wow, that is really impressive there on the side of Sea Bubbles. So really, really good. Let's take a look here. Okay, at us, I guess. Let's take a look at us. So, Nito, reaction to the Glub Glub versus No Boys Allowed match. We saw those 3 straight 100-0 KOs.
I mean, it's almost rare. I don't want to say it's almost rare, but you almost in my time of competitive Splatoon, it's not too often that you see a older team lose out against a newer team, but it's Glub that takes the 3-0 sweep this time, and that's really intriguing because of where Glub came from. They lost to Prickly Pear, another team that we're gonna hear about a lot, especially as we head on further towards the night. But Glub beating No Boys Allowed in such quick fashion, it was, I almost say dramatic out of habit, but it's not really dramatic. It's something that they were able to cleanly get past to move on to semifinals, loser semifinals.
And Keon, C-Bubble right now playing, taking a look at the bracket, Glub going to be moving on, going to be facing the winner of either C-Bubble or Z-Tier players again. We have our lovely East Coast versus West Coast lineup that is going on, with West Coast up or down 1-0 as Glub is going to be getting the win against No Boys Allowed. But we have quite the match here on SplatoonTourney 2, quite the set at least, with C-Bubbles up 2-1 over New England's Z-Tier players. So, you know, C-Bubbles, this is a team, they didn't technically win their tournament. You know who won it? The team who won Sunset Surge under the name Pika de Gaia, which is Prickly Pear. 3 out of the 4 players did. And the way we have the tournament structured, we said, hey, if your team wins a tournament, well, first of all, you can play at any qualifier you want. But if you have more than one winner on your team, that team cannot then qualify again. Like, you can't qualify for the rest of your team. So Prickly Pear knew that. 3 of their 4 players won Sunset Surge, went on to Sea Battle, technically won it. They picked up Nico, not the Nico from Bouillabaisse, the other Nico, who played with them. So it's just so fun to see how a lot of these players will go to a bunch of different lanes. Our streamer Jorian went to 4 of the 8. So that is absolutely crazy and very impressive. Shout out to you, Jorian. You've got to hold the record for that. So that's really cool. Shiny beat you. How many did Shiny go to? Shiny. Okay. So Shiny went to 3, but Jorian went to 4, I believe. So, okay, pretty crazy stuff. Let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 2. While I cough, I'm gonna toss it to Nito.
All right, SplatoonTourney 2 is gonna bring us New England's very own Z Battle's very own C-Bubble. So, the thing I'm gonna look towards most is that this is Rainmaker on Undertook Spillway. C-Bubble has been doing notably well on just being being faster here. C-Bubble is this sort of upfront and personal, up close and personal team that, with how Z-Tier players plays, with their coordination and how well they were able to help each other, especially Neptune with the grab. I'm going to mention it a lot, but with how well they play, I want to see where this goes for them as we head into the 1 minute remaining mark with Z-Tier players covering the first checkpoint.
Yeah, with things being the way they are with the first checkpoint, as that's going to be the stop for this one. Now C-Bubble going to have to be able to respond in kind if they want to take this home to that 3-1 side, and maybe the Zuka is going to help their cause as they get a nice little pick there onto one of the members that I just completely blanked on. So wanting to see what C-Bubble's response is so far right away here, Nito, as this kind of just continues to progress further, as Decap's still striking big and a whole lot more is happening. And now both teams clearing out the checkpoint. How does this factor in to where the game plays out? Maybe not much longer here, Nito.
Up close and personal. That's what I was looking for. And that's what I said. And I'm going to give you an explanation, but there's 21 points remaining on this game now. Only 1 decap left to pop this Rainmaker for C-Bubble, as both teams see one player go down. I mean, this is so... It's already this close to the last pedestal. I mean, my goodness, this is not what I expected for C-Bubble, and they still get a few more points on the board, too. I still owe you an explanation, but I've spoken so much on the game to the point where I forgot what I was supposed to talk about.
You know what, you're good here. So with Rainmaker being capped, they got C-Bubble already got that first push rolling right along. So I mean, for the most part, here with the weapons we see from Z tier players, they pretty much stuck to what they know. Same thing with C Bubble, of course, the red pencil being the big surprise here. E leader was being dished out earlier, so wanting to see how that all particularly plays. As it looks like so far, it might be an opportunity for Z tier players here as they're trying to break through. It's just coming down to C Bubble's ability to defend, and they have that special that is available. That is the Zuka that is available right now. I think they were playing that one patiently. I love the patience that they showed there, and Falco right now with the set kind of playing its way out with about 2 minutes and 2 seconds left to go on the clock. Might be a possible back and forth here in Game 4.
Yeah, this is a position where even if you don't have the player advantage or the specials, you just have to try to keep pushing the Rainmaker. You have about 2 minutes, but every inch counts. You know, every time you can kind of stall the Rainmaker, push it, because it's a little trickier to... I mean, you could jump off the ledge to reset the Rainmaker, but you just want to keep up that pressure because those points will add up. But now we're at a neutral game here with Z-tier players in control. They are the ones getting down to 20 here, I believe. Is that correct or not?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
The answer is yes.
The answer is yes. Thank you, guys. Yes. As they're able to try and continue to push this, but yeah, this is where Z-tier players, they just want to get the stop right away. Really just take control of mid, but it's going to be really hard when your two players down like this. Can they take out the crab? That's going to be a big question.
I mean, ultimately, that is going to be the big question, especially with the way this is all progressing right then and there with a handful of members dropping out. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. They're all the way over here. This could be the exclamation mark. 7 points remaining here, Nito, with 45 seconds plus. I was about to ask if this was going to be hard to come back, and C-Bubble's like, nope, forget it. Take two, forget it. C-Bubble advancing 3-1, and we get to, and I believe, yeah, this is a loser round, so we get to say goodbye to Z-tier players representing New England for this tournament here, Falco.
Yeah. Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the bracket now, because this was another upset on paper. C-Bubbles was the 6th seed, where Z-Tiers were the 5 seed. So we're going to be seeing that C-Bubbles move on. They're going to be facing Glub Glub, the number 3 seed. That match will be coming up next on SplatoonTourney 2. Coming up next on SplatoonTourney 1 will be My Little Henlo versus Prickly Pear. That one is going to be coming up very shortly. Again, we're going to take a look. Here are the teams that are remaining. We still have our coast to coast lineup.
Oh man.
We're just going to be moving up north a little bit for our losers finals, and then head down south for the winner, or not our losers finals, but losers round 2, and then down south for the winners finals. That's going to be broadcasting pretty soon. So, this is so much fun. I mean, the round 2 winners matches, Keon and Nito, 3-0s, a very, very quick 3-0, really, for both of the teams, to be honest. I mean, it's been a minute since we had seen them, and they've been waiting. They've been waiting to play. They were very patient. They were very, very patient for us, that they were just able to wait. You can see them kind of queuing up and getting ready now, but that winners finals match, that is going to set the tone to see who's going to be the team who's unstoppable. Of course, the loser of that is not out quite yet, because they're going to face the winner of losers round 2. So still a lot of action coming our way, but we're down to the final 4. Technically, this is so much fun.
You know, Nito, you and I both love our sports here. Final 4, I feel like, has a good ring to it, but of course we have to eliminate one team out of that losers bracket right away. And this was a matchup, if I'm not mistaken, yes, C-Bubble versus Glub Glub, which we saw Glub Glub's total dominance in their respective losers round matchup earlier. So this is gonna be a matchup that I think everybody will need to entertain here. And what I'm wondering here, Nito, I guess for your take on winners finals, and then of course losers round, whatever loser side, whatever you want to pick. What do you think for, in this case, for loser side, Glub Glub and C-Bubble? What does C-Bubble need to do, especially now especially now they have to face off of a very hot Glub Glub team?
Keep going fast. You need to keep going fast. I mean, you're playing against a team that just came off a sweep. You're playing against a team that knows that you're probably going to be playing fast, but the thing about C-Bubble, and this is something I mentioned in their previous set against Z-tier players, is that they're so precise with how they were picking off their players one by one. It's almost like there's always a 2v1 they were looking for. They are setting it up with one player, and as long as you keep your eye on that one player, I think Glub Glub is going to be fine. But for Glub Glub, all they need to do is make sure they are not finding themselves too tired. They cannot find themselves being isolated. They cannot find themselves making the same mistakes. And this is a very historic team, a very experienced team. I want to see that, and I know that they can do it. But I mean, Sea Bubble from Sea Battle is starting to become the dark horse. I think this is my dark horse. I don't know. I like Sea Bubble. You talk about Final Four. There's always a Cinderella story. Sea Bubble's not that big of a surprise, but Sea Bubble has to be the Cinderella story.
Yeah, and now we switching over to winners finals, which will be happening here on SplatoonTourney 1, and then of course if you want to watch that Sea Bubble and Glub matchup, that'll be in SplatoonTourney 2. We take a look at the brackets here. Nito, again, same question posed to you with My Little Henlo and Prickly Pear. Your thoughts coming into this basically on paper 1 versus 2 matchup?
It is going to be the biggest matchup, and we might honestly just be having the grand final preview here, but I don't know. It's another I don't know Jim moment because of how close My Little Henlo and Prickly Pear are. Prickly Pear is so scary, I think, to My Little Henlo, and that is the team ideally that My Little Henlo has to be watching out for. Prickly Pear has dispatched all of their opponents with ease, and he dispatched Glub Glub, a team that has been rocking the losers bracket for as long as they've been in there. My Little Henlo doing the same, but in the winner's side. So, and I want to say that with the winner's bracket, they have swept Z-tier players, and Z-tier players have had a respective run of their own. So, I don't know. Winners finals is going to be very scary for both teams.
Yeah, and I think too, what's hard again. Well, what's nice, these teams did get a rest. Now both teams got a rest. It's not like one team was resting and the other was playing, immediately rushing to this match. They all knew that they had like, 25, 30 minutes that they could kill and obviously get a snack what they need. That's going to put them not in a better position for this game, but maybe down the road if they're going to be facing one of the losers finals teams. They're going to be able to just kind of take a little bit of a breather. They know that they're in a better position, maybe mentally too. But of course, I'm thinking of a team like Sea Battle Sea Bubbles, the 6th seed. They're competing against the number 1, 2, and 3 seed here in their final push here. A lot that they can really overcome. Again, didn't win their tournament. Very strong players in their own. And their total points going into this, they were undefeated in their bracket in Sea Battle, 15-0. And then when they faced Pico de Gallo, which is Prickly Pear, they lost in winners finals in a game 5. So it was very close. Let's take a look at Splatoon 1 winners finals now kicking off. It is Gatorland's My Little Henlo versus Sunset Surge's Prickly Pear. No surprises on the comps. They're going to be starting off on Zone's Barnacle, spelled with an I.
Oh, lovely Barniso is mainstay of SplatoonTourney streams that start with Ludi tonight. But for now, it's still here in spirit, and it's going to continue to be here for the rest of this game here. My Little Henlo currently swapping the zone caps here. Pepe here on the splatter shot, has the Zuka there for a second. Remember, this is the matchup I wanted to look forward to. Both of these teams can be very scary against one another, but it's My Little Henlo that is looking to lock things down out really quickly here. They're doing fairly well here. Everyone's on the zone here. I like the fact that notice how they're all basically trying to stay away from the zone here if they find themselves in a dangerous situation. They at least have this basic understanding that we do not let ourselves get picked off on a tower here. Who knows how much Prickly Pear can get? They know there's a mutual level of respect here that I'm seeing from the gameplay wise, and I think My Little Henlo here recognizes the threat that Prickly Pear can bring.
That's right, and the zone is now flipped in favor of Prickly Pear. They're going to be the ones taking the lead here, as they're going to be trying to contest. 2 players are down on My Little Henlo. Blooper is going to be going down too. As we can see, Katie, that's Alexi, going to be trying to push in. 37 now, though, with 1 down. Prickly Pear still in a better position against My Little Henlo, trying to get that, but Pepe is going to be going down. You're taking on one of the shot players, one of the players using the Zuko, which is going to be huge. So this has to be where My Little Henlo is going to be pushing in Keone, and they do, giving 66 penalties to Sunset Surge.
Yeah, a lot of penalty points there coming against Sunset Surge here as well. So wanting to see how this all currently plays out with the 2-member down situation. So for My Little Henlo, this is an opening that they can try to take advantage of. With about 4 basically members up here on Gatorland's end, they are in very decent position to do so. Now, they have a hammer and a Zuka at the ready, so that's going to be the big thing, is who will get value out of this. First, seems that My Little Henlo seems to understand the assignment right away. And in a situation like this, with the zones being kept in your favor, you're able to take members out. So, I mean, My Little Henlo's in perfect position for the lead change and possibly the KO now.
Yeah, Nito, they do get that lead change, but 2 are going to be down. But nobody's really on the zone for Prickly Pear. Nobody's near it. It's going to be the Wipers trying to push in. I believe that's Eevee is going to be trying to push in. And it is contested 66 penalty points now for My Little Henlo. So, Nito, that was a much-needed cap.
Yeah, no kidding. There's some breathing room for Prickly Pear at least. But the problem here is that My Little Henlo holding things down so well here that when Sunset Surge had that retake, it it definitely seemed like there wasn't anything coherent there. They had 2 players jumping to one another. It was Pepe and Shiny over at this little over to the side of the zone. They didn't have anything there, and it looks like this is kind of the case here. They're looking for something to happen, looking to make something happen. Unfortunately, with a team like My Little Henlo, you can't make something happen just as easy. You have to wait for this opportunity to come to you. My Little Henlo just does so well locking things down, as we're seeing here, as we're going to see the end of that match. My Little Henlo, first game of Winners Finals.
Yep, and moving on to SplatoonTourney 2, Glub versus Sea Bubbles, now kicking off here. Again, in our losers round 2, winner will be moving on to losers finals. Glub, the number 3 seed, versus Sea Bubbles, the number 6 seed here. We are once again here on, this one is Hammerhead Bridge, which I think should have been Barnacle, but they're going to be playing it out, I guess. I don't know. Well, if somebody, one of the TOs wants to do something about it, they can. It's not our domain.
I can confirm to you, Falco, right away, that is actually Hammerhead Zones that is actually for this particular matchup. That is actually 100% confirmed. So we actually have different map lists across the board, by the way, for the loser side and the winner side, just to give you...
okay. I didn't know that. Okay. I thought it would just like round 4 was it? Okay, never mind.
No.
Okay.
No, I got you caught up now.
I know how my tournament works. Don't worry about it. I totally understand.
Totally. Totally there. I mean, 35 points remain, and now Glub is repeating the same script that they did a couple moments ago with the dominating push. Actually, could very much be on their way to taking this one all the way home. Maybe not the 2 down, maybe not with the 2 down, but hey, Glub running with it right now.
Yeah, Glub really in dominant position right now, Nito. And again, it's a lockout. It's a lockout stage. That's Hammerhead Bridge. As you know, it's not surprising that was a very, very quick KO.
Yeah, I mean, I call that stage. I call it stage Walleye 2 because it is just Walleye 2. I mean, it's so. You mentioned the word lockout. It's gonna appear a lot when you talk about Hammerhead Bridge because of how close things are. Look at this replay here from the earlier match from Sea Bubble against Z tier players. A match that Z Bubble ended up winning to get themselves to Legend semifinals. All of this started here with how well Sea Battle, again, look at how well they're doing with these fights. I mean, especially with the decaf here. The decaf doesn't necessarily need any introduction. The decaf's strong on its own right, but
all right, let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 1 as that match. Sorry to interrupt you, Nito. As that match is now underway again with about 20 seconds in. We are on Clan Blitz here on Umami Ruins, and again, kind of the stalemate beginning where Gatorland seems to be in a little bit more control. 2-player advantage against Prickly Pear. One is going to go down. That's Henlo. Pepe is going to be taking them out as soon as they go down, but My Little Henlo is going to be scoring Keone.
Yeah, right out of the gate, you got the immediate score there from My Little Henlo. And Prickly Pear in a very interesting situation where they're having to basically play catch up for a good chunk of this game. So a good chunk of the set so far with Milo Henley able to get the first score with that 1+1 push. And if I look closely at the weapons here, of course, the splash and the sploosh still working large. Wait, they just snuck their way through. Okay, that's what I was wondering. What was happening on that one? They got points down to the 62 points remaining marker. Well, I mean, Milo Henley is just throwing blow after blow after blow for them at the moment in terms of the 2 pushes we saw.
Yeah, the 2 pushes were very strong, kept us on our toes. Nito, as we can see now that Sunset Surge trying to get a push of their own, but they're going to be stopped by My Little Henlo's players. That's Flop Stoppa, which I think is that kid or Splat? It's one of those 2. I don't know which one. But 2 are going to be going down there on the side of Gatorland. So Funky Eevee is going to be trying to push forward. One of the best and sneakiest carbons in the game. They're going to be getting that score. Can they push past this 60 mark, Nito? I don't think they're in a good position. No, one of the players is going to be jumping out. So it's still going to be a lead there for Sunset Surge, but it's not one that you want to really boast about. And we're going to be looking in on SplatoonTourney 2 as they're going to be hopping into Game 2.
Yeah, looking into Prickly Pear is a notable difference between how Eevee and Pepe are playing on the front lines here. Pepe playing brash, it works out to some end, and sometimes it ends up being a little too greedy, and that ends up creating a numbers disadvantage for Prickly Pear. Eevee, of course, having to play more sneaky, more passive, waiting for that opportunity because of the nature of that weapon. But looking into Splatoon 1, it's still the same story here. Not able to get past this 60 remaining mark is going to be Prickly Pear. My Little Henlo still able to at least... This is the thing about My Little Henlo. They're able to find something every time they pop a special, every time they pop a bomb. There's always something there for them that they're able to take advantage of. And that is... It's the awareness that it takes to find those advantages out of something seemingly small that's getting them ahead.
Yeah, and that's going to be another nice pick there from Pepe. Look at that. Woo! Pepe doing Pepe things. This is what he does best. Let's take a look. They're going to be scoring. Let's take a look and see what's going on over on SplatoonTourney 2 with that match that is happening. Big Dapples, Glub Glub versus Sea Bubbles. One of the teams down to 44. That is going to be Sea Bubble, who has the lead now with 44, about a minute in. So they had a very strong push there, Keon, to start off the game, and that is something you got to be really happy about if you're the 6th seed coming into this tournament.
Yeah, Seba will be very happy with the push, but obviously look at the time left on that clock from what we see, 3:37. That's still plenty of time. And Glub, as all of us know here so far, has been riding a very good hot streak. So I'm gonna be intrigued to see if Seabubble can keep that momentum up and going right then and there. On the left hand side, Henlo, I just saw that was a Ultra Stamp that gets that double there with the 2 members that did drop. So all it is that it was breaking the barrier apparently. As that push is starting on the other side though, Seabubble is still trying to also work large with their own possible push. So Falco, a lot of things all happening all at once in both matches.
Yep, this is the chaos we love. We don't have 4 games anymore. We have 2, but still plenty of action. 1 minute remaining over on SplatoonTourney 1, where Sunset Surge's team still is holding on to that lead, 25-55. On the other side, Sea Bubbles still has a lead, but let's take a look. The last 30 seconds here is My Little Henlo. They need to try and get a push here. They're going to need 2 power claims if they want to try and take this lead. 20 seconds left. They have a lot of claims at their disposal. 11 that they're holding on to as Henlo is trying to get a push going their way. Katie Lexi is going to be trying to push in. They have the power claim, going to be trying to push forward with the pencil. We might see overtime, but there's going to be 2 power claims at the ready. Will this be enough for them to try and push in and score? Stamp is going to be coming in overtime. Here we go. Here comes one more. I don't know if it's going to be enough. Can they get there in time? Yes, they can.
Yes.
My Little Henlo gets that win. They go up, and they are up 2-0 right now on that set. Let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 2, see where that match is. Just about 2 minutes remaining right now, Keon, and yeah, still the same story that we saw before.
Yeah, exactly the same story. What we saw earlier was the push that was attempting to materialize, but Seabubble just never found that opening that we saw. So this is the only game that we have currently in action with Glove, they did lose their Zap earlier, so with the comp that they have, which I think has been pretty much as similar, especially with the decap duel, you have to keep an eye on the special usage, especially the bubbles that are available, especially with Glove having the trip strikes that are around that can basically open the door. Same with Nolan, of course, on their 96L deck with the Kraken. So C-Bubble, they have to hold on defense for as long as they can. Wipeout, though, might be the opening for Glove. They're gonna get this push started, and Nito, this is kind of the danger zone now for C-Bubble as they had that lead initially, and things just started to fall apart really quick.
That was dangerous for Glove too. That was one member of C-Bubble. That power clam from C-Bubble was near Glove's baskets. That was a near disaster. Unfortunately for Glove though, this push means they will not be able to get the lead. Surprisingly enough, because they look fairly solid throughout this lead. But note that they still have these numbers up far. They have Keen now coming with the jump in. They have Nolan there on the wall. They have these numbers, but they're quickly going down here. As we see, Nolan starts to back up against with a fight from what appears to be the Carbon Roller Deco. Mar now looking for some more assistance here, knows that there might be something coming in. As we see Balloon trying to take this right stack here. 25 seconds to go. Nothing, doesn't look like there's a clear winner, but that's what's making these matches so great. Nobody knows what's about to happen until we find out.
Well, and Nito, also, one power claim is not going to net the lead for the side of Big Dapple, so Glove is going to need something a little more than just one power claim if they want to try to
They don't have one right now.
Then they don't even have
one.
They
now do.
Okay, they do now. They barely got it in time. Keen is going to be picking it up. They're going to be throwing it. One of the players is going to be Krakening. They're going to get a jump. Keen's got to get out of that storm or else they're going to go down. Still alive. The Kraken is out. They are getting it in. They need 4 more clams to try and get this in. We're going to see one go in, but here comes Keen coming up the ramp. Can't they get it in time? Yes, they can. They get that lead. They are up 2-0. So 2-0 against C-Bubble. Let's hop over to SplatoonTourney 1 as this game is now underway. Game 3. So Prickly Pear able to get it to 86, not quite to that first checkpoint with My Little Henlo now on the tower trying to fight and contest here. That's going to be this is going to be a very close and contested game, Keon, as we see these two teams face off in a must-win game for Prickly Pear.
My Little Henlo, by the way, dishing out that Clash Blaster this go around, so which a weapon that doesn't normally see airtime. So this is actually a fun little weapon that I like to see a lot. If anybody wants to be a Clash Blaster specialist, so love to see what value that they can get so far right away. And Prickly Pear kind of just sticking with their bamboo and the other assortment of weapons that they have. Nero, I want to toss this to you here with the weapons that you see. What do both teams need to keep an eye on as the first checkpoint being reached here for Prickly Pear?
I've been staring at the Class Blaster for so long that I still at least remember your question. With that being said, Prickly Pear knows they're running essentially two shorter range chargers here. They've got the pencil and they've got the bamboo. That's interesting to note. I think that what they're looking for here is My Little Henlo knowing they have a wiper, they have a splash, they now have a Class Blaster as well. If they can chip him and keep him behind, keep him staggered, or at least keep them playing passive, it's going to work out so well, and it's working out really well here. As we're getting to 20 points remaining, they have cleared the last checkpoint. Prickly Pear, could this be their first win of the set? We're going to find out very soon here. There's still 4 picks being traded left and right, back and forth between both teams. And Prickly Pear continues to hold on to the tower here. Evie looking to get some more going for him. Prickly Pear getting this close to the tower, getting this close to the KO.
Wow.
We're holding down the line. Henlo, only line of defense for My Little Henlo here. And it's still contested here. My goodness.
Yeah, and Nito, this is what you need to do. Just you can be the only one alive. Like strategically feed, push everything you can onto the tower. And Keon, it's just so important you do that. They aren't able to get the knockout, but now Gator Lane, essentially My Little Henlo, they need to get the knockout if they want to get the win. Are they capable of doing it? Absolutely. It's a matter of if they can execute it in these next 2 minutes.
Well, the good thing that they have going for them, by the way, because if I look really deep into this comp, because they got the Ultra Stamp, of course, Henlo is going to be your user on that one. They got the Crab Tank, the Cooler, and if I'm not mistaken with this Clash Blaster kit, this might be the one with the Zuka on that side, as we got the other match that has just kicked off on SplatoonTourney 2. This would be match point for Glove. So keep an eye out on that if you want to pay attention to that one. But going back to this one, this actually could be My Little Henlo's time to counter push here. Again, with this map being the 1-2 snowball effect between checkpoint 1 and 2. Now if you're Prickly Pear, you can't afford to let the defense stop, but My Little Henlo, they didn't seem too phased at all there, Falco, because they're rolling right through to this treacherous second checkpoint, I like to call it.
Yeah, 2 of them are going to go down. 1 member down now on the side of Prickly Pear too. Will this be enough for them to try and get past this checkpoint? That's going to be their first big obstacle. But look at this on SplatoonTourney 2, rushing it with the Rainmaker. That is going to be members from Glub Glub, I think there.
Yep.
Yes, that is going to be Glub Glub in the orange, Sea Bubbles in the blue. As they get to that first checkpoint, kind of just easy breaking it through, getting that win. So now we have a neutral game on SplatoonTourney 1, game just kicking off on SplatoonTourney 2. This is going to be make it or break it point. There's going to be a wipeout, and that is going to be now an opportunity for Prickly Pear to try and extend the push that they have already. That is a much needed wipeout. Let's take a look at these last 30 seconds of it. Nito, give us your 2 cents.
It's going to be so closer to the end, but with how well Prickly Pear finds these 3 down situations, 4 down, doesn't matter. Prickly Pear does so well in extending this lead here, especially when you have 2 players like Pepe and Eevee who are so scary on the front lines here. Eevee has this tactical now, huge enabling for Prickly Pear, but nothing there. Notice that is going to be something to look forward to if you're a Milo Henlo fan, but Prickly Pear doesn't have anybody on the tower yet. 2 players going down. That might change very quickly. We do have a Crab here. Crab staying up so far. Henlo goes down. Another one goes down. Wipeout happens as quickly as I mentioned it. And that is going to be the first game going to Prickly Pear.
Yeah, Prickly Pear keeping themselves on the board, keeping them alive here in the winner's bracket. Let's head over to SplatoonTourney 2 right now as Glub Glub able to try and push this a little bit more with that Nilla with the help of the Vac. Can they get this knockout? No. Getting down to 5, Keon. Right here, they just got to try and get it in. That is going to be Balloon, I believe, who's just the only one alive there on the right side. We can see Nolan. Nolan could also go up the ramp and maybe cheese this. Are they going to get some picks? No, they're going to be going down, but strikes are going to be coming out. And let's see if Stella's going to be resetting this or letting it reset. They got to maybe do it. Oh, not quite yet, Keon.
Yeah, not quite yet. So this is kind of like the worst position to be in if you're Sea Bubble and the rest of Glub Glub still playing as aggressive as they are, because you saw like the number of people that were diving deep into that Rainmaker push was just phenomenal. And now Sea Bubble, now this is a lot of clock here, but they both cleared a checkpoint. So definitely fights going on Sea Bubble's end will definitely help their cause. Now, they may not have the timers to do so because I saw from earlier about the 40-second difference for that Rainmaker. It's something to just really keep an eye on with the way this progresses. So, I mean, the game state right now there, Falco is that Sea Bubble has cleared the checkpoint. They still have a big opportunity to strike back. I think this Rainmaker is destined to explode there, so nope, they're just going to drop it instead.
Yeah, they're going to be dropping it there. Oh, and that's going to be a nice trade there. Really just going to be benefiting Glub Glub at this point. Especially with how much of a lead that they do have. Nolan's going to be trying to pop it with Balloon. And again, this is a spot that they were in before Nito, where they were just like, you know what? We're going to have one of our players flank. We're going to try and push up on the grates, and we're going to make this a slow and easy strategic push.
And the thing about Crab Lake is that it's so hard to get this Rainmaker anywhere near the pedestal, let alone 1 or 2 players. So Keen being able to go up to this top right side and just waltz around with this tent is so huge for Glub Glub, because they know they have what it takes to keep this Rainmaker on this side of the map, and if they can keep it that much longer, they might have been able to get a KO there, but it won't manifest that quickly. But as I'm saying here, here's Keen. Keen's still on the top of this zone here. Is actually able to jump out, which I was surprised about. Glub Glub just knows that they can keep forward pressure up so far that it's very difficult for Sea Bubble to find any way out of it.
In the game on SplatoonTourney 1, kicking off now. Again, Prickly Pear got that win in Game 3. Let's take a look at that one as it's going on right now. So they're going to be, My Little Henlo is going to be the one picking up the Rainmaker as they're going to be trying to push it. Can they get to that first checkpoint? It looks like they might be in a good position to, as they do have a player advantage. Let's take a look at both games going on as well as we're approaching the last 30 seconds on SplatoonTourney 2 with the losers round 2 match. Again, Sea Bubbles needing to try and push the Sea Bubbles on the right side, have the Rainmaker. Is it going to be enough for them to push forward? No, they're going to lose it right now and lose some players, Keon. This is where they have to do it, and it's just going to be a wipe. It's not, unfortunately, not going to be enough.
I mean, all credit there to Sea Bubble, at least able to go as far as they did, but Glub Glub was just a bit much for them. How about the reps, by the way, from Sea Bubble from out of Sea Battle, excuse me, as I'm going to try to get words here. Again, the team that only made it in because Pico de Gallo happened to be the group that qualified for Sunset Surge. They had a fantastic showing all the way here in this losers semifinals matchup, making it as far as they did. So that's been a great run for them. So hey, hats off to y'all. They're in Sea Bubble. You have represented Sea Battle very well. So but that said, of course, going final with the 3-0 sweep. So Glub Glub awaits the loser of the match that we're seeing right now here on SplatoonTourney 1, and this looks really close from what I'm seeing so far here, Falco.
Yeah, this is a very, very close match between these two teams, which is something we always love to see. And like you mentioned, Glub Glub awaiting the loser of this match. Remember, earlier on, Prickly Pear beat Glub Glub 3-0 in the winner semis. So will it be a rematch? Prickly Pear's hoping it won't. They're hoping that they can win this one and push it to Game 5 and potentially win that one as well. 2:40 remaining now. A very neutral game, a very close game, very different than what we've saw from any Rainmaker Humpback game, Nito.
Yeah, no, I mean, this is, and funny thing about Prickly Pear is this is a team, this is a map where they can do so well on, especially considering what they have on the front lines, and they're still doing pretty well in it here too. I mean, none of these, the only team to clear the pedestal is My Little Henlo, and even then it's not by much, so Prickly Pear very much still has a horse in this race. But, I mean, Prickly Pear still struggling mightily against My Little Henlo until you get a triple like that. The only thing about Prickly Pear is that they do need to get this over to that, and the only people preventing that is My Little Henlo, a team that is doing so well and taking these fights. Look at Blobboard and that brush on the top, Blobboard being forced to back off there.
Yeah, they're going to be forced to back off. Again, not much movement here in the 2 minutes of that happened. So, excuse me. As My Little Henlo is going to be picking up the Rainmaker. They have the lead. They're finally able to extend this lead just a little bit. They're going to be trying to push in with the Stamp as well. Not really oh, it is going to work. They're going to get down to 33, so that is a much better push. And players down on all angles right now, so My Little Henlo really needs to capitalize on this. Pick up the Rainmaker and push forward, but Prickly Pear, they're going to really need to try and scramble to make sure that this Rainmaker gets stopped and potentially dropped.
Yeah, this is where things can get a little treacherous here now. The volatility of this game is generally that this is a very small and condensed map. The problem is that for Prickly Pear's end, they haven't even broken through that checkpoint quite yet, which they should be able to do so now. So you give yourself a window of opportunity. If I look closer at the weapons, they have aggression. They got double Zuka. They got a cooler that's available. There's no special being available. It kind of makes it a very they have to figure out which one they got to build up first and how to find the picks that they need, because My Little Henlo can just continue to just dive into Prickly Pear's end and see how this push all plays out, and that's kind of what they're doing right now, especially when they deploy the Octobrush the way they are here, Falco.
Yeah, and they are a team that they can do this for the next 30 seconds. They are perfectly capable of just playing the defensive 1v1 game. We just have to make sure you don't flank. We don't need to try anything fancy. We just need to make sure that you're not going to really, catch us off guard at all. And they're going to be trying to do that. But look at this, Nito. This will be Prickly Pear's one last chance. They did have a player advantage, and Eevee's going to be getting one of them. Eevee's going to be holding the Rainmaker. This might be the last push. 10 seconds remaining. They have this. Oh, no, it's going to go down. They need to get this pop really quick, or else this is going to be it for them. Not it, but you know what I mean. And it's not going to be enough. As My Little Henlo, they're going to be moving on to grand finals here. Prickly Pear moving on to the losers final is going to be having a rematch versus Glub Glub, a team that they defeated earlier on in the winners semifinals.
And to keep using some sports terminology, what essentially My Little Henlo was doing there was dribbling out the clock. They knew that they could take these fights. They knew that they could just hold on to this and we'll be fine, because ultimately Prickly Pear, with how aggressive they are, that's gonna almost enable them to make those kind of desperation plays. And you saw a little bit at the end there. Although me calling it a desperation play is unfair, because that almost worked out. Had it not been for one bomb that took out the Rainmaker, that would have been I don't know. If I'm My Little Henlo, that is the moment where I just scream and just like, ah!
Yeah. And let's take a look at the replays again. We're just trying to debug some of our replays. This is one that happened earlier in the set. If we can get you to a more current replay, we certainly can. But this this match has kept us on our toes. Definitely a match that we could potentially see later on in the grand finals. But of course, Glub Glub is going to be standing in the way. Let's take a look at the bracket one more time here before we let you guys go for the duration of the stream, because we've been on for almost 2.5 hours right now. But yes, Prickly Pear, Glub Glub going to be coming up. That match will actually be right here on SplatoonTourney. We will be broadcasting the losers finals and grand finals from here on out. There's only one match that can happen, so it will be on this channel. My Little Henlo, they will be waiting for the winner between Prickly Pear and Glub Glub. So, Nito, Keon, this has been so much fun. This is like the first time we've been able to do any sort of cast like this. A lot of live look-ins. We hope the replay system would have worked a little bit better, but hey, technology sometimes is really tricky to deal with, especially when there's so many moving parts. We were so fortunate to have all the lovely talent behind the scenes to make this happen. So Keon and Nito, thank you both very much for being on the mic. Keon, where can we find you?
You can find me finally going to eat dinner after this cast. I had all the energy in the world leading up to this one. I've still managed to have whatever energy I've harvested. So, but you guys can find me on Keon2570 Blue Sky and on Twitch. And I don't think I can show it here. This is the Riptide Volunteer shirt that I've been wearing all day. It's the closest thing I have to lamb representation. So go to Riptide if you guys haven't yet. Nito, I'll toss it over to you. Where can the people find you?
Where can the people find me? That is a great question. I'm at Nito and Used at .bluesky.social, Nito and Used on Twitch. On a rare occasion that I do stream, and if you can find me, I'll also be finding food because, wow, 1, I'm hungry. 2, I need something to eat when we get to these loser finals and grand finals. You know, it's like YouTube videos, except this is much better than a YouTube video. Also, shout out to Columbo, the shirt I got.
All right. Thank you both. All right, I will be back here with Saf and Pop Gun to kick you guys off for our losers finals. But you guys don't go anywhere. Glub Glub versus Prickly Pear coming up next. You're watching the LAN Championship Showdown here on SplatoonTourney. We'll be right back.